whole thing?
My favorite part was finally getting a workout. I feel like by the end of this trip, I'm going to be a little bit more buff.
Dude, what workout? You were chilling the whole time. I was doing all the work, as you have seen. But this is actually such an amazing place. I would love to come back. I don't know if you would like to come back as well.
We are coming back.
We have to come back.
It had been quite a day and we had a proper workout. It was time to head to our overnight accommodation for some much needed shut-eye. Bordering the Tsitsikamma Park and just a few kilometers from the Storms River village, Misty Mountain Reserve promised some welcome rest and relaxation, and it had a pleasant surprise in store.
Oh, wow.
This is unbelievable.
Look at that.
This is unbelievable.
This is amazing. And apparently, this is the only one here at Misty Mountains. The first pod ever built here. They're actually going to have like 5 more. But this is the one and only pod.
This is beautiful.
Cheers to the good life.
To the good life.
Cheers to the good life.
Ejere Ezebuke Onwandike is a creative director at Urz Culture. This brand crafts extraordinary headwear from unconventional scrap materials, adorning Nigerian celebrities at prestigious events such as the Ocean's 8 Met Gala in Lagos.
Clearly, hats like this are to crown stars.
Some of the celebrities that have rocked this is Calabachi, Trish O'Couture, Jennifer, the Lady Vodka. And this piece makes you stand out at any red carpet event.
But would the stars wear these hats if they knew that they were made out of trash? Let's find out how Ejere Ezebuike Onwadike managed to get stars around the world to wear her junk.
This is a lovely hairpiece we've made from plastic bottles. Growing up, I've seen that the waste which comes from plastics are detrimental to the environment. So I tried to make the environment a better place by reducing the waste which comes from plastic bottles and other things.
Ejere Onwadike is the creative director of Urz Culture, a fashion and accessory brand, which catered to events such as the Ocean's 8 Met Gala event in Lagos. Before we get to know how she transforms discarded scraps to high-end designs, we want to know how she got into millinery.
Started out when I was 8, making lovely pieces from waste from my mom's fashion business. And this like 2 decades ago, she sells it up. So I'm like, oh, so there's a business that could come out from my passion. And that's how I started selling, because her friends would bring requests, my relatives, my friends. She makes clothes for them while I make the accessories.
That's how Ejere discovered her passion, finding inspiration in her mom's leftover materials. But how come that with a bit of junk, she got the whole Nigerian high society wanting to wear her pieces?
These are some of the amazing pieces we've made from our sustainable products. This is made from carton that AC came in. So we have people in our team who go to procure these cartons for us, and we use them to make amazing pieces, just like this. And we embellish it with Swarovski stones, crystals, and pearls. We've worked with a lot of celebrities, ranging from musicians, Nollywood stars, fashionistas, the cream de la cream in the society, like Nancy Sime, Kate Henshaw, Mona Lisa Chinda, Soke Makinwa. And we've styled video shoots for Burna Boy, Davido, and all that.
That these high-end luxury hats and fascinators are made from junk seems to be unbelievable. Let's see how eco-friendly Urz Culture's production really is.
We have team members who go picking up and procuring waste materials, like these bottles from hotels, from restaurants. They come in dirty, so we have to wash them, dry them, so that they're fit for production. Some of my favorite materials I like using for designing are the feathers, the stones, the plastic waste, the woods. Like we source materials from furniture brands. Like this is one of our signature pieces. It's wood, like leftover wood from a furniture store. So we've shaped it into the design we want and sprayed. This is the waste from furniture brands that we use to make our spiky hair pieces. This is also one of our products. that we made using the ashoke material, from our Yoruba culture. And this has been made into a braided hairband, and it's quite lovely when worn. It's also been accessorized with appliques.
With her eco-friendly headwear, Ijure has found a thriving niche, with high society and the movie world coming in and out of her shop. But she still has other goals.
It's important that I amplify the eco-millinery concept in Nigeria so that other people, other colleagues of mine can see the possibilities of creating magic with pieces and not waiting for importation of materials before they can start up their business.
Just rethink. What you trash today may become somebody's new hat. Thanks to Urz Culture, a truly head-turning accessories brand from Lagos.
From the kingdom in the sky in Lesotho, we hope you enjoyed the show. Go to dw.com/Afrimax for more. Till next time, goodbye.
Hello everyone, you're welcome to Health and Vitality with me, Dr. Hannah-Lisa Tete. Today, we'll look at why it's important to take breakfast. Welcome back. As you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and it's important for you not to skip breakfast and to keep it as healthy as possible. Some of the components of a healthy breakfast are whole grains and cereals, low-fat dairy products such as milk. You can also have fruits and vegetables such as freshly squeezed fruits, and also fruits and vegetable smoothies. You can also have lean proteins such as lean meat, eggs, legumes, and nuts. So make sure that you don't skip breakfast and make it as healthy as possible. Breakfast has some health benefits, such as it provides you with the energy you'd need to go throughout your whole day and provides you with the right nutrients and vitamins you need. It helps you to concentrate and focus very well at work. And if you're looking to maintain your weight, then make sure that you do not skip breakfast. Just as I'm saying, before I leave for work, I'm about to have a healthy breakfast, and I hope that you do too. Until the next episode of Health and Vitality, it's bye for now from Dr. Hannah-Lisa Tete.
MTN.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Where Duraplas goes, water flows.
PS Industries has introduced a new roofing system known as ColorLink Plus. Flamingo paint, simply superior. Syntax tank, are you strong? Are you tough?
Cherry Tree Properties. We develop spaces as though we were going to occupy them. In Imani Africa's recent report suggesting that goodwill for the government, the John Mahama administration was waning, some of the respondents spoke about not seeing results in the Operation Recover All Loot agenda, a big plank of the NDC campaign. Oral. Samuel Okujetua Blakwa, who chaired the committee that was set up to look into some of these matters of rot, sleaze, and grafts by particularly members of the previous administration, had hinted that Operation Recover All Loot will give this country in excess of $20 billion US. 21, actually. Some disputed it. Remember Bright Simmons? Well, Daniel Yao Domelevo, who was also part of that team, is no longer as upbeat as he used to be. He's not sure that Oral will get the results they thought it will. Why? Because it has been just too slow. Is the delay a legal delay or deal-cutting sabotage? Because we've heard about sabotage. We've heard about deals that are being cut by members of this government. John Mahama appears to share this particular reservation. And he says, Auditor General's report appears not to get any sanctions. People who steal. And in the 2024 report, over 18 billion was stolen or misused. That the people will not suffer sanctions. It's as sure as the sun. He wants quick prosecutions. 6 months you should be in Nsawam. What's going on? All right. The second issue we are canvassing for you will be about Naimos, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. The Naimos invasion. It's been on the rampage. How sweet it looks. But there's gold being dug under rail tracks. How about the kingpins? Are they being arrested? And if we do have time, we hope to make time. Jakpa versus Godfrey Dame. Is it a matter of justice or vendetta? This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, as you know, we always put Ghana first. I'm Samson Ladia Yenini. We'll be right back.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin,
Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat, undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
I am from Nigeria. Studying computer science here has opened my mind to the world of innovation.
As a parent, seeing my daughter class at ACT gives me peace of mind.
ACT didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
The skincare you deserve. Dream.
The Gooba Awards has always been more than a celebration. For years, we have honored excellence across the African diaspora. This year, 2025, we take it further with a chartered flight straight from Accra to Bridgetown. From the 9th to the 13th of November for the Gooba Trade and Investment Conference and Awards Night. There will be 9 panel sessions, private roundtables, and investment-ready site visits, all designed to build lasting connections and open new opportunities. Gooba Barbados. This is where Africa and the Caribbean come together to connect, build, and to renew. A true reclaiming of our Atlantic destiny. Join us. Secure your seat at GoobaAwards.com
or call 024-515-6705 or 059-738-5229.
Gooba Awards 2025. Connect, build, renew.
Welcome back. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, as always, we put Ghana first. Let me tell you, my guests who are joining us, and today it's packed, and you will definitely enjoy it. And my guest this morning, right here in the studio, is our beloved Dr. John Osai-Kwapong, CDD fellow, and I think often we are speaking to him from the US, where he's been teaching one of the subjects I don't want to hear about, and he teaches people about it all the time, research methods. Also here in the studio is Jakpa, who is former MP, 2nd D, and Minister for Tourism. He was also in another ministry as well. We will be joined by Professor Kwesi Enin, security consultant, Erastus Osaredonko, multiple award winner and multimedia group journalist. We also have Senyo Hosi, who is convener, One Ghana Movement, and trustee, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Elikem Kotoko. Elikem Kotoko, right, is the Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission. He also joins us. And as you know, we are looking at three very important issues to canvass for you. But please don't be disappointed. I know you look up to my take and you always wait for it. Today I don't have a take because I decided to reserve that time to tell my friends, lawyers, judges, and those in academia, NGOs, those in the foreign ministry, in diplomatic circles, a bit about this book. This book, it's almost 1,000 pages. It's 968. And it's written by the venerable Professor Sir Dennis Dominic Ejay, now Justice of the Supreme Court. And I had the rare privilege to review this book, and it was launched just yesterday. And I just want to tell you just something small about it, because it's a very important book for all of us. And I just read portions of what I had to say about the book in my review at the launch. In fact, one of the judges who he sits with in the African Court on Human and People's Rights, Justice Imani Abod, this is what he says about the book. He says, this book delivers a panoramic view of the human rights architecture, and it leaves no stone unturned. It's what I call a scholarly first. And there's a reason I call it a scholarly first. It's about all the human rights, that you have sort of in the world, in our continent. The conventions that we sign up to, and sometimes we sign up to without any reservations. I'll tell you something about that briefly, why that can be really bad. And most of the books that are written in this area, they always write in one area. They take one, maybe the African Charter, and write about it. Maybe they talk about the Convention on children's rights or something. They write something small about it. But he decided to give us what I call a global atlas. Took a lot of them together and wrote this one. So I say that his book, his own judicial experience on the African court, enriches the analysis with practical depth. His treatment of the African human rights instruments is not apologetic or derivative. It is assertive and proud, showcasing Africa's unique contribution to global human rights and jurisprudence. Let me lastly pick one point I said about this book. Now, this textbook seeks to aggregate all relevant treaties and bodies and remedies available to redress human rights violations. As someone, myself, deeply invested in legal literacy and governance reform, I find this book to be a strategic ally. It fills a critical gap in Ghanaian and African civic education, and it offers a global lens that is both rigorous and relatable. Like his earlier work, Criminal Procedure and Practice in Ghana, which I was privileged to review about 7 years ago, this book has equipped me to navigate all important human rights treaties and to practice more confidently in those courts when called upon. So, in sum, this book, International Human and People's Rights, Law and Practice, is a triumph of scholarship and public service. It deserves to be on every legal shelf, in every civic classroom, and at the heart of every policy conversation. And I don't say that lightly, because in our foreign or diplomatic encounters, we sign all sorts of, treaties and conventions. We signed the Convention on the Rights to the Child. It teaches us something we should learn to do, that we can sign and make a reservation. When we signed, we didn't make a reservation, which means we adopted all of it, including, for example, the right of the child to the freedom of conscience and the freedom of thought and the freedom of choice, including religion and all of those things, against exploitation. And here, sometimes it's not really exploitation and child labor. It's really not exploitation or child labor. We can do a reservation and keep some of that, but we don't. We just go and sign it, wholesale, and then we are bound by all of it. He teaches that we shouldn't do that. Islamic countries, they do reservations. Even the US, the Convention on Child's Rights, they did reservations. And Singapore, other places they did. We signed the convention on the CEDAW, on the women's rights. We didn't make any reservations to fit our culture and our traditions. Some people do to fit their culture and traditions. We heard just recently that in South Africa, they have affirmed that a man can take a woman's surname when they get married. And we are shocked. When you do a reservation, that's what you can do. But if we sign it wholesale, we are supposed to do that. And we signed that law in 1989 or so. We ratified it long ago. So he teaches us how it is good to take some of those lessons. So this is the book, almost 1,000-page, and you need to get a copy. International Human and People's Rights, Law and Practice by Justice Dennis Jumo, Sir Dominic Ejay. Now, my guests are seated, and we get into our discussion. And in our very first discussion, we're talking really very serious matters, and we want you to join us. Send us your messages, your messages about how you feel about the issue of oral. Is it delayed? And do you think the delay is a legal delay, or it is rather a deal-cutting sabotage, as Fifi Kwete tried to, tell us a few weeks ago?
So if you follow the briefing that the Attorney General has been given, a lot of work is going on. Will you ask, are you satisfied? I'll say no, I am not satisfied. Because I can't see the end of the tunnel, not to talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't even see it. I don't even see the end of the tunnel before the light, because I know this may continue till there's a change. In fact, the prayer of the corporates and their lawyers is that there should be a change in government. Then you hear nolli prosequa and etc. and our money is gone. The procedure that Attorney General currently is using is going to be very difficult. 9 months. 9 months is not small, my brother. We are, before we realize, we have finished the quarter of the term of President Mahama. So I think we have to change the speed at which we are moving and let people gain the confidence that things are moving and moving very fast. It begs one question. Doesn't mean they didn't prepare before coming to office, or they were not ready for winning the election. Because when I look at the quantum of money that we should recover and the speed, the snail speed at which we are moving, I'm like, when are we going to get there? We may not get there. We need to change the legal framework. And let me be blunt here. If government refuses to do these changes, it only tells me that either they are also doing the same thing, they are also stealing, or they have intention of stealing. That is the only motivation which will stop you from doing these things, which brings about quick win.
Right. So the NDC won the elections on the 7th of December, and by the December 18, it set up the oral team. And by February 10, the oral team submitted its findings, its report to the president. The oral team, as you know, had Okudzeto Ablakwa, Domelevo, Kofi Boakye, Martin Pebu, and Raymond Archer, with Okudzeto Ablakwa as the chair. And they received complaints in excess of 2,400. The cases that they submitted, worked on, 2,030, and they received cases from civil society, 44 of them, and they estimated a potential recovery of $21.1 billion US dollars. $21.1 billion US dollars. Can you imagine what that can do for this country? Even a quarter of that. When we went to the IMF the last time, do you know how much we went for? 3 billion. 3, not 5, not 10, 3 billion. And back at home, we're being told that we can, on our own, recover stolen loots in excess of 21 billion US dollars. See how people got excited. They got charged up. And how many months on, Domelevo says, doesn't look like it. It's delayed. Imani does a report or a survey on people's, faith in the government. And they say the goodwill was waning, and part of the major reason they raise is oral. Why? It's delayed. You're hearing a lot of noise, but no results so far. This expectations that's been hyped, is it reality that we are now checking ourselves? So let me begin with Jakpa Mensah. And John Mahama buys into this when he says about what he says about the Auditor General's report. And I give the example, just the 2024 report, spoke about 18 billion plus that has been misused or stolen. The Auditor General calls it, irregularities. I don't like to call it irregularities because you don't recover irregularities. The Auditor General says he can recover over up to 80%. So if you are going to recover up to 80%, you're not going to recover irregularities. You are going to recover money that has either been stolen or misused. So imagine, he says 6 months, people should be in jail, and the system is just too slow. Well, many Ghanaians agree with him.
Let me say good morning to cherished viewers, of course, those listening to us on radio, and my colleague panelists, and your good self. Yesterday, I saw the program that you attended rather late.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have loved to be there.
You should have been there.
Dennis is a well-respected member of the Judiciary of our country, written extensively on various subjects. But I've read, I believe, his book on civil procedure, I think.
Yeah.
And something that I use, I intend to use as I warm myself back into practice, So I would have loved to be there. And I think that I will share.
You actually
the views
asked to
that
buy
you
this
expressed.
off me.
Yes, I wanted to buy it off you, but
okay, I'm going to get
I'll take your word that you get me one.
I'll get you a copy. Right.
Samson,
you should have been in that room though.
Yes,
it was the Ghana Academy of Arts and Science was packed with judges, including from the Supreme Court.
Not surprising at all.
And the lawyers, your friends, Samuel Uku, all of them were
not
there.
Not surprising at all. Not surprising.
But people are surprised that such a colossus who is representing Ghana on international courts was sidestepped for so long and was never promoted to the Supreme Court.
Well, I can't speak to that, but I guess that there are times and seasons for everything. And when the time came for him to get to the Supreme Court, he was elevated without any brouhaha from any quarters. I believe we all listened and saw
it. But with a lot of jubilation.
Well, of course.
On social media, you saw how people celebrated that for him, for Akabwa, for... Yeah,
it was a good appointment, no doubt at all, except that the timing is what generated some controversy.
Okay.
But it is what it is. And these are people that I know. And so I believe that they are ably qualified to sit on the apex court of our country. That said, let me deal with the aspect of the president buying into what Mr. Domilevo has said relative to the Auditor General reports and the Public Account Committee hearings. That's true. Consistently over the years, we listen to TV, we watch committee hearings that deal with infractions, irregularities, you call them stealing, of public funds, and not much is done about them. It's worrying. Obviously, if there's a way that we can deal expeditiously with some of those matters and bring people who have, if you like, offended the state in one way or the other, in terms of mismanagement of the state's finances, to be brought to account, so be it. Certainly, it's something that we all endorse. Save that when I was on the Parliamentary Affairs, Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, I believe it was one, we had cause to deal with the budget. I'm trying to remember, I'm not sure it's a constitutional and legal. One committee that dealt with the budgets of these constitutional bodies, including the Auditor General, Shraj, and all that. And I had cause to ask the then Auditor General, I believe the one who came, he's still in office, not Domilevo.
Yes.
That if you look, Johnson Esiama, if you look at the reports that they churn out on a year-by-year basis, some work takes place post the submission of their reports. But many a time, those issues that get addressed do not find its way into subsequent reports. So it creates the impression that all the things that they've reported on, losses of say 18 million, even if there was some corrective action that had taken place during the course of the year post the submission of their reports to Parliament, those are not reported. And it would be good that he finds a way to capture them in subsequent reports so that at least we get a clear and accurate picture of what the situation really on the ground is. Okay, he took up the challenge, but I'm no longer in Parliament and I haven't paid particular attention to the most recent report that was produced by the Auditor General. I wouldn't know whether those issues that we raised at committee has found its way in this report. But like I said, if there's a way to recover lost public funds in an expeditious manner, that would be something that every well-meaning Ghanaian, including myself, would endorse. On oral,
his frustration that even where you have to prosecute, it takes forever. And here we are, a very interesting situation. People that were being prosecuted under the NPP regime, it took 7 years, 8 years, prosecutions didn't finish. then his
I'm not sure those are directly.
No, I'm talking about.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I know where you're going.
And then nulli prosequis are filed or people are let go. So he's saying, let's have this prosecution done. So you should be in Sawam in 6 months.
Well, the resetting agenda we look forward to see.
Is that possible?
I don't know. What he says he was meeting the Chief Justice and the Auditor General and the Attorney General to find ways to ensure that happens. 9 months is a long time, but they still have some 3 years and change ahead of them. So, like I said, we all want the best for our country. And so if the president is able to achieve that, we would clap for him for ensuring that prosecutions are dealt with in an expeditious manner.
This is not the first time he's expressing such frustrations, though. In his previous, term, on the 7th, was it on the 7th or on the 14th of June on the 7th of June of 2014, he had said that corruption is like mass murder. And if he had his way, he would use the military style. Just deal with you and get rid of you quickly, rather than you go through a court where they will entertain you, you do appeals. Look at the Okuni matter. They appeal every day, appeal to Court of Appeal, next appeal to Supreme Court. They appealed that till everything was frustrated.
I suspect that the president may have moved away from that position post when he made that statement on advice, because that clearly will be inconsistent with the provisions of our Constitution. There's a legal maxim that says it's better for a criminal to walk than for an innocent man to be incarcerated. The reason why the processes of adjudication,
99
the way
to walk
it is,
than for one who is innocent to be in prison.
Absolutely. So that's what it is. And people have been prosecuted and incarcerated successfully in an administration because the facts and evidence were clear. In some instances, people who have resources are able to, if you like, work the system to their benefit. But like I said, we've been told that they want to bring back or activate the tribunal system, which already is in our Constitution, but really over the years has not been triggered. They say they want to bring it back. Let's see how they do that. And if it generates results, certainly.
Aligning with the tribunals is what Godfrey Dami was pursuing for amendments to allow for these corruption criminal cases to be prosecuted on a daily basis. Once we put you in court, we start and prosecute the case every day. So at least we can get even less than 6 months.
Samson, expeditious trials, especially when it comes to corruption and corruption-related offenses, I would support any day. To the extent that it doesn't breach the fundamental rights of whoever the accused person is. Certainly, it's something that we have to pursue.
So you think 6 months is feasible?
Well, I don't know. He is the president.
You have practiced before as a lawyer, the only lawyer on the platform. So share with us.
I wouldn't want to.
There are pocket lawyers here.
Those ones are fake. I wouldn't want to jump the gun. 6 months may be a stretch, but it's possible. I believe that within a legal year, you should be able to get some prosecutions through from beginning to conclusion. But that would depend on a lot of factors. So let's see how they can activate it and try to actualize it.
We did a presidential election petition for 8 to 9 months. And subsequently, we changed the rules.
That's right.
And I was privileged to work on the rules that we used the last time.
That's right.
And certainly, we set a deadline of less than 50 days.
Yes.
And we did it.
So let's let the powers that be activated. I don't really have any view. Like I said, expeditious trials is something that, for us as lawyers even, is good for us.
Okay.
Because the earlier you get rid of cases, you know, the less, the more time you have to deal with
less is the money you make.
Oh no, not at all. you charge what you have to charge for whatever brief that you are
so
given.
the more cases you get.
Certainly.
You've not heard that joke, the old old lawyer
I know
gave
that
to
one.
the son. Exactly.
That the brief that I've been working on for years.
And then his son had become a lawyer.
Yeah.
He took the case, went to court the next day, said the case is over, he's done.
Yeah.
And his dad said, oh gee, this is the case that took care of you. All right. Okay, so the oral frustrations.
But on oral, I believe that the chicken really is coming home to roost. The kinds of statements that were made, the high expectation that they gave to Ghanaians for a process that really was not an investigative process. They set up a committee of 5 members and said that we've opened our doors. Whatever wrongdoing that you know of, bring it to us. And they put it together and said that potentially the government of Ghana could recover 21 billion from those complaints. The president now then has to act on those complaints through reference to appropriate state agencies to now investigate. Because if you don't investigate and build the evidence to take to court, what can you achieve? I'm not surprised at all. Look, National Cathedral.
Oral is with the Attorney General. So that's the only state institution that's working on oral.
I'm not so sure whether the Attorney General himself or the Office of the Attorney General, as we know, has the capability to conduct investigations into all these complaints that were submitted to it. It will certainly go to the state authorities. I know of cases that are with the state security agencies, NIB and all of those. True, some of them are under investigation. But I've represented clients on some of the issues that came up in oral at NIB. We've gone there on multiple occasions, written statements, gone through some interrogation processes, but we are waiting. Mm-hmm. If they call us, we'll go.
The people are impatient, and John Mahama understands this. He says, I understand that public accountability and the recovery of looted state resources are at the top of your expectations from my government.
I was going to give you a specific...
Let me assure you, my fellow citizens, that we have not wavered in our commitment for even a moment. Neither have we been complacent.
Let me give you a specific example of the National Cathedral project that you've put on the screen. We're told that some $100 million or $80 million have been expended. And that they were going to recover that money from the project. How are you going to do it? Contractors have been paid. People have worked. They've received remuneration. You tell Ghanaians that you're going to recover the money. How are you going to do it? I want to know from you. Maybe Elikem would be able to answer. We all see, yes, the project is not complete. True. Because the budget for the project is in the region of some 350 million. I cannot for the life of me imagine how you then spend 80 million or so, or even 150 million, and expect that the project will be finished. It can never be finished.
We're told it's 97 million US
whatever
dollars.
Amount of money that has been expended. I'm saying that to the extent that you have not fully expended the amount of money that you budgeted for the project, you cannot finish. If it was the case that all the money has been spent, yet there was no cathedral, then you can begin to ask questions that, hey, you guys have expended so much money on this project that was going to cost us X amount. Why is it the case that it hasn't been finished? But we're told that they were going to recover that money. They've paid consultants, they've paid contractors, there's work that has been done there.
I think they were questioning the payment.
I don't have a difficulty.
The process, the procedure for the payment.
You can question whatever. I don't have any difficulty at all. But it was part of the computation of the 21 billion that they said we're going to recover.
So you don't need to complete before you can be held accountable.
So I'm giving you only one example of monies that they say they will recover. How are they going to recover the national cathedral expenditure that has been made? That they gave you a figure that people were excited. We don't even have to go to IMF again. 21 billion US dollars is big.
I see, great.
Yes.
All our problems will be resolved.
The big push is how much? It's only 10 billion. And you have 21 billion that Mr. Mahama promised through his committee that we're going to recover for Ghana.
Big
we are
push
waiting.
over 4 years.
We are waiting for them to recover. Now we are being told. The man at the center, he was part of the committee. But at the time when he was compiling the so-called complaints, he didn't know that no investigation had been conducted. And that some of them were actually bogus. He didn't know.
For Daniel Domlevo.
Yes, I'm asking. He was a member of the committee.
Yes, he said much earlier that the things they had gathered needed to go through a certain scrutiny.
Thank you. So why is he now coming to tell us that 9 months down the line, they haven't achieved much?
He's as frustrated as many citizens are.
Because I'm saying that the premise on which they started itself, giving this hope that there's some 21 billion that they can recover for the Republic of Ghana, was flawed. That's the point that I'm making. And so, if 9 months down the line, people are beginning to question you that, hey, you promised that a recovery of 21 billion, we are not seeing anything. Then you will begin to hear these kinds of statements from people who are at the center of it. We want the 21 billion. Let them bring it. Because we need our roads developed. In fact, only last week, the secondary market has collapsed. I saw the MP on video kneeling, begging the president to come to his aid. We hope that the president will hear him and come to his aid through the recovery of this 21 billion. So many projects across the country can be done.
Take a breather. So, Elikem, the president says, what you are witnessing is not inaction. It is our steadfast adherence to due diligence, due process, and fairness in the pursuit of justice. Our insistence on doing things the right way may afford those who have looted this country some temporary relief. But let me be clear, it will not grant them permanent escape.
Yes, Samson, thank you and good morning. In the first place, I think, well, the two of you being lawyers to my right, there is a saying, I'm told, that the wheels of justice grind slowly. I also recall that in a haste to prosecute some time back, or some years back, we had an embarrassing situation of the president versus Chachu Chikata. I think that the president, John Mahama, has made it very clear that indeed he wants to recover all loot. He, however, is not in a haste to do so and then stumble and fall. After all, he is aware that he has a 4-year period to do so. I even saw on your screen the top 5 priorities of the NDC government when we assume office. Economy, unemployment, education, corruption, and the health. These are major issues that ought to be addressed and are being addressed. If my brother to my right cares to know, and disappointingly, he wants us to wait until the National Cathedral. In fact, this is something he should not dare to even talk about. The National Cathedral, we should wait until all monies are expended before we can then now cry wolf that you have not done the project. I am so sorry. That is the most unfortunate submission to make. If he cares to know, it's a Sipon Stadium under your constituency.
No, it's not.
Okay. You recall the finance minister, the past finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, in his submission to Parliament, did make us know that renovation works on the Esipon Stadium had reached 90%. 90%. And if anybody, including even a toddler who is in nursery school, visited that place from that time till date, it has not even gotten to 5%. And so, having experience of what some of your cohorts are known for, you think that Ghanaians should wait again. And because the National Cathedral had not been completed, they had no right to talk about these or even say that you have not finished and all of that. And you are asking how 21 billion will be retrieved? I am surprised again that is coming from you as a judge, as a lawyer. Because even if I dupe my brother here and I spend that money and I'm found culpable that I have done the wrong thing, whichever way it has to be retrieved, that must be retrieved.
There's no expiry to crime, as they say.
At all. So I am surprised with the submissions he's making in relation to that. I take comfort.
But you know about concealment. The criminals, they are miles ahead of the law.
Oh, yes.
So the longer it takes,
the better it is for them.
The more room they get to conceal the loot.
I have always said that, for instance, when you take even our security in particular, you will need every 24 hours to be very vigilant. The terrorist or the exploiter need just a second loophole and then you get access. So I understand that, no doubt about it. But we all know the same, like I said, that the wheels of justice grind slowly. And you see, in as much as you are here saying, where will they get the 21 billion? We are waiting. Because you want to take excitement in the fact that let them hasten to do this and stumble and fall, then we'll say, didn't we tell you? No, President Mahama is very meticulous. He is very careful. He is very steady and focused. And it will not take you to dictate for him how this process should go. And after all, he is not the one in charge. There are processes, there are protocols.
You mean Domelevo?
Well, Domelevo and others.
Too, yeah.
You see, and I think that Mr. Domelevo also knows the legal processes himself. It can be frustrating sometimes. But one significant take out from this is that it tells you that the Ghanaian out there was very convinced that the past administration was more than corrupt and want to see prosecutions. I remember during the campaign, many were the people who confronted you and were like, to wait, if you come to power and you don't even do anything, just make sure you jail these thieves. These are the sayings of Ghanaians. And it is not different from today. So when some of them are having the voices to speak out loud to say that their delays are not denials, and therefore when there are delays, it's understandable that.
Did you hear Fifi Kwete recently?
I listened to that.
That people within your own ranks, were cutting deals, seeking to sabotage these prosecutions.
I am glad this matter has been raised.
Them.
When Fifi Kwete, our General Secretary, spoke on that day, he spoke in contest at the venue. He was speaking to the lawyers. And so he was espousing what he felt was a major concern that needed to be addressed and then to the lawyers.
So what context is that?
No, many thought that...
It wasn't meant for our ears.
No. Many thought that what he was saying was for the generality of everybody. That maybe even somebody like me, Elikam, is doing so. But because he felt... because he felt...
He was talking facts. He was not talking rumor.
Well, he was talking...
People know some of the situations that he was speaking to.
You see.
Where people within the government, high up, have picked the phone and called prosecutors to tell them, let this man, let go of this man. Don't prosecute them.
I said this on the program before, and let me repeat it here. For instance, in the case, the Summer Boy incidents at Konta Mining and all that, I was there. After that, I wrote something, the facts as I knew it, when I went onto the field on my timeline. I think less than a week afterwards, I had a call from Chairman Wuntumi. I didn't have his number. He called me and said, Elikam, this is Chairman Wuntumi. I said, yes. He said, Misty, this is Chairman Wuntumi. I said, huh? Now, Elikam, now, say, who boss your madam for pardon now, sir? They will try, I will write to my lawyers. I said, I don't have anything doing in Kumasi. I am in Accra. Yes, there may be instances of that. What Wuntumi never called me before. He has not been my friend. I have never engaged him in any way. Suddenly, I was part of a team that went for an operation where his name popped up, and I put out the facts as I knew it over there on the ground when I was there. Then suddenly he called me. What was he trying to do? So there will be instances of that nature. I have had instances where I'm sure everybody here can attest to that. There may be an instance where you may be fighting something, and a friend, a colleague, a schoolmate may call, oh, Charlie, this matter you talk, the guy be my friend, oh. it does not necessarily mean that you should bend the rule. But it's also just an alert that maybe in case there's something you can do, or if the gravity...
If it doesn't mean necessarily that you should bend the rule,
yes,
you shouldn't be concerned that somebody called you. You shouldn't be concerned that you were called at all and that you were as you alleged.
So that is why
he called you and sought to invite you when are you coming to Kumasi? If it meant nothing, why should we bother?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying, that the gravity also matters. So the gravity in this contest will be able to help you to even tell, no, this one, this, that, no. But you see, I take comfort in the fact that the Ghanaian out there, including Mr. Domelevo, appreciate that still they have a strong belief a lot of loot went on, a lot of corruption went on, and some were very visible, very obvious. We can make mention of them probably when that right time comes, when we talk of PDS, when we talk of the others and all of that. The content there, everybody knew these days. And it is not only to the Domelevo, the media equally also knew all of this. So they are only saying that what you have said, please hasten the process. And there's no way government has said, okay, having gotten the information now, we think we cannot continue or we would. No, the government is being meticulous to make sure that due process is followed, and then you get watertight evidence so that when prosecution begins, it shall be untenable that one will be able to now come and say, I'm punching hole here, I'm punching hole there. We understand the judicial processes, that no matter how tight you have even prepared your docket, etc., somebody may also have a certain defense anyways. But you would want to make sure you have your facts very right. So Oral, as we all know, didn't have any prosecutorial powers or judicial powers then, but they have now submitted to the Attorney General, who would now take on that mantle of doing the needful. Then now come out to say, okay, I think we are convinced that so far out of the 2,400 complaints, we can start with 400 that are very concrete. The other 2,000, we are waiting for further and better particulars, or we are taking step A, B, C, D. And I'm not sure that anybody, and not even Mr. Domelevo, is expecting that all will be started within this time. But he says that 2 months.
He says 9 months. It's a long time, too long.
I understand, and it is because of his personality, which is why it has become even a subject of discussion. There may be another person or persons watching us now who also say,
how is it 9 months?
Since they got in the power.
When did his committee?
They submitted in February. They submitted in February.
Towards the end of February also.
That's right.
So when is work even going to start? When will investigate? So it's not 9 months. Just to correct that.
If it's priority.
You know, let's just agree.
It's priority.
Something. Let's just agree.
Almost
it's not 9
months.
It's
almost
not
9
this
months.
is just about a 7 months matter. I'm not saying it's you see, there's no reason for a discussion. Well, let's get the data right. It's not as though from day one
they submitted their report on the 10th
of February.
Correct.
Okay. Very much so.
It's almost 9 months.
It's not 9 months. No. It's 7 months.
7 months.
It is not 7 months. And you see, my point. Are you counting? Please count.
What have you got, man?
It's not 7 months. It's not 7 months.
But
the bottom line, something, is that indeed there's no timeline to it.
It's 9 months.
When it comes to even,
please let's check it.
When it comes
it's
to
9 months.
How is it 9 months?
No.
On the 10th of February, that is when the report was submitted to
March,
the president.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8 months.
Okay, and so we expect that the president should have.
So don't say 7
So
months.
that goes to the president. When did the president send it to AG? When would the AG start work on it? Practically 1 month is gone. If you understand governance, how this people work.
And don't forget that.
The 9 months is a stretch.
And don't
it's
forget
too
that.
long. That's what the people are saying.
Well,
we can have
and
a conversation about that.
The president acknowledges that.
You see, don't forget that when that document was handed to the president, he transmitted to the Attorney General. That's Oral taking or soliciting 2,400 evidences. Hasn't gotten the real time to actually even study it. So this is raw data now being transmitted to Attorney General. Now the Attorney General has to sit on 2,400, and
Oral was damn sure.
Yes, damn sure, but you should trust that. You see, you should trust that in a year or more there will be prosecutions, and that is why I'm saying that. I mean, let's even go by the 9 months, right? Which is not the case. You want to assume that from 7th January that we took over, it means things.
You say 8 months.
We will soon come to 7. So apparently, the point is that you would agree with me that the Attorney General is now studying all of this. He may have to even pick maybe 50 priority ones out of 2,400, but you will still need to go through the 2,400.
So at least by now, show us that you have 50 prosecutions ongoing.
The concern you may have could be that you want a certain kind of regular update.
It's not me, the public.
When I say you,
and they use that to say that goodwill is waning in the government.
That is also controversial, because by what metrics was it measured apart from the one by...
The metrics include that Okudzeto Ablakwa went through all of this country. He was in this studio, made a presentation, took us through all of the oral report,
submission he did,
and told us how they just caught the thieves. All that was left was to put them in court and throw them in the dungeon.
Samson, I come to you. I have arrested him on a civilian arrest, that he was engaged in an illegality. Whatever be it, I am defining it as illegality. Then I present him to you as the Attorney General. You think immediately you will not investigate what constitutes that illegality, whether he was even a principal or an agent or what capacity.
We understand that. It's been grandstanding other than propaganda.
I am just saying that, you see, the oral didn't go out there to investigate because it didn't have those powers to do so. If the oral had those powers to have done so, then you would know that.
Would you brand people thieves?
No. See, at what point that you say?
At what point?
At what point?
Not post-investigation.
But people have been called many names, and that is always said in law by itself.
Grandstanding and propaganda than substance. That's the question that's in all this.
Are you interpreting his question?
I'm only asking.
You see,
like I said, we are here. We are not going anywhere. We are here.
It is why it is very instructive to repeat and say that yes, the Ghanaian out there is making it very clear. One of the major things of concern to us is to see people behind bars, is to see people prosecuted for the very people who plundered this nation, the very people who caused us all this pain and anguish. We want to see them behind bars. Yes, that is the wish, but we must make sure we follow due process, due diligence to ensure that when that is done, it will be untenable. And that is it. So, yes, President Mahama himself has actually admonished that he feels the concern of the Ghanaian. That yes, we made mention to you that we will recover all loot. We have now realized that if only this thing goes through, an approximation of 21 billion will be recovered. Yes, how are we going to do that? That is the process being gone through. Oral didn't just say that it is going to court to prosecute. It knew what it had to do. It submitted its report or findings to the president. The president knows he doesn't have that final authority. He had also transmitted it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General is working on it. So in summation, what I can only say is that a little bit of patience will work, because the Attorney General, and mind you, it is not only oral he has on his desk. There are a lot of galamsey matters also on his desk.
Oral is priority. It's priority.
Oral alone cannot be priority. I must state it here. It is priority, but it doesn't mean it is the only priority. Yeah. It cannot even be priority over galamsey. Probably the two are at par. So concurrently, you are trying to make sure
we need money. Oral is supposed to give us $21 billion US dollars.
What will you do with money when you don't have good health?
The galamsey, you are there. Yes. You are watching that place for us.
So I'm telling you, what will you do with good money when you don't have good health? When
Senor is teaching. If you can take a little rest for Senor to come in. Senor, do you appreciate people's frustrations? And they are beginning to look into the future and say, if it happens the NDC doesn't win in 2024, we are likely going to get the repeat of what we have seen, where the people standing trial because they belong to the party that has just won power. Some of them, it's almost impossible for the party to prosecute them. So they go and release all of them.
But good morning to your viewers and listeners. And with your permission for 10 seconds, I want to say hello to my Kumasi family. Otumfo Atapoku and Ujam Yamamoyako on the loss of Mrs. Elizabeth Ajiman, the matriarch, Kwesi Ajiman's wife. She's
okay.
A very wonderful mom. Unfortunately, I can't be there, so can't Bobo. But our hearts are with you. We will have to sack these two parties very soon. When Nanado was coming into office, he came with the same loud mouth, loud talk. The likes of my brother here were also there. We were all claiming all kinds of things around corruption. The reason why he lost steam in his first term was not economy. It was only one thing. The oral that he should have done never happened. We also have another government coming in with all these oral screams. The likes of Okudzeto claim they have been investigating it even before they were given the opportunity to do this preliminary work. So I can understand. there's a huge expectation. I think there's time to be fair and honest with the people. That committee did a good job by putting together all, in quotes, gossips and any kind of smoke they must have put together. But not all smoke, that all things you see as smoke is necessarily smoke for you to go and find fire. Sometimes it's just dust. All right, so, and that's what I see happening. Dominic Ayini, who has been put on the table somewhat, I don't think he's being fairly treated at all. He's been one of the hardest working members of this government. A few more that I doff my hat to. What do you expect the Attorney General to do? There's a certain reset that, if you are politically savvy, you see is going on within the entire judiciary system. It's being engineered, definitely, politically, by the anchors of legal matters within the government. It's a part of the process. Investigations are supposed to be done. You should be expecting proper investigations running about 6-7 months for you to get a proper docket to try and start prosecuting people. And we are talking 8 months now. How many cases were brought before them? What's the resource capacity of NIB, of all the other entities? Let's get real. A lot of the talk around the oral committee may not really be what was pictured. If their case or the submissions or the evidence they had put before the Attorney General was that watertight, we won't be having a conversation. We won't be having a conversation. A lot of rumors and gossips that were worth looking into. I agree. Let's respect the process. What we want to rather hear from Attorney General is that we have a judicial system that can run such things very slowly. You cited the Opuni's case, all right, as one of that. And whether he was being fairly treated or not, he'll definitely leverage the legal structure to do what, to navigate the political antagonism that he believed was against him at the time. We don't care. We are not interested in political antagonism. We just want to make sure that there's no impunity and we recover monies that have been lost. These are people's money. When you come to serve the people, you don't ask the people to serve you by looting them. We can't stand that another time. Every time politicians loot money, it is us, the general public, who pay for it. Our children and children's children pay for it. So we definitely need to see action. But let's be reasonable about what we call. I don't have a problem with Dominic Vo's call to the extent that he was trying to just reawaken the conversation around oral. But for him in person to actually spare this conversation the way it did, I don't think was optimal. He's been at the heart of it. He's head of, chairman of Yoko, isn't he? All right. There are things that we've also claimed we sent to Yoko. We had Yamin's case. What have we heard? What is the pace of that particular investigation? How quickly is it going? It means that he himself is aware that there are constraints with how governance is. I think we can come to some consensus at this point.
He's not saying he's unaware of the constraints. Let's get him in perspective again. Please, let's hear the former Auditor General, Daniel Yaw-Domlevo. Let's hear him again. Let's hear him now. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform. Let's hear Domlevo.
So if you follow the briefing that the Attorney General has been given, a lot of work is going on. Will you ask, are you satisfied? I'll say no, I am not satisfied. Because I can't see the end of the tunnel, not to talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't even see it. I don't even see the end of the tunnel before the light, because I know this may continue until there's a change. In fact, the prayer of the corporates and their lawyers is that there should be a change in government. Then you hear nolli prosequa and etc., and our money is gone. The procedure that Attorney General currently is using is going to be very difficult. 9 months. 9 months is not small, my brother. Before we realize, we have finished the quarter of the term of President Mahama. So I think we have to change the speed at which we are moving and let people gain the confidence that things are moving and moving very fast. It begs one question. Doesn't mean they didn't prepare before coming to office, or they were not ready for winning the election. Because when I look at the quantum of money that we should recover and the speed, the snail speed at which we are moving, I'm like, when are we going to get there? We may not get there. We need to change the legal framework. And let me be blunt here. If government refuses to do these changes, it only tells me that either they are also doing the same thing, they are also stealing, or they have intention of stealing. That is the only motivation which will stop you from doing these things, which brings about quick win.
I do agree with you. Today are constrained and there's a need for change. I think from a policy analyst perspective, I can see political maneuverings for that change. We were at the CSO platform on galamsey. Remember, Dominic raised the issue about the tribunals. You made mention to it. So there's some work. Now, you are now a part of government. Being chair of YOCO is not a technical, appointment. It's a political appointment. So you can't be telling me that you can't see, because you should be part of that process. That defines how the tunnel should be shaped and where the light
is at YOCO. It's not at Attorney General.
It doesn't need to be there. YOCO reports to Attorney General and he's chair of that particular.
No, my point is that your oral cases are not with. Okay, they are with Attorney General and YOCO.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
No, but at the moment it's at YOCO. It's at Attorney General.
Attorney General, oral cases, Attorney General is working with YOCO, is working with NIB, is working with all the other investigative bodies to be able to firm up his docket. So he's part of the process. He's right when he says that the process today will not inure to the benefit of us, the public. So there's a need for change. But when you also bring the question as to whether the same government you're working for was not prepared to come to government, I mean, I think that was a bit below the belt, and you're coming from him. But I love the advocacy.
A bit below the belt?
Oh, it's below the belt.
He's being frank. You say
no, I would say you are part of it now. Because if you are part of it, you should be part of that change. Unless, of course, the recommendations you are putting out there are not being heard. And he's a big weight. Domlevo is one of the most respected people in this country and trusted. Let's get it right. It's respected and trusted. Government putting him within their system will not want to go public against him. No, it's at their own peril. So I think that he has the resources, he has the influence to help us all shape that path. We can clearly hear the Attorney General dropping snippets of information on the transformation he wants in the judicial system so that we can expedite this matter. Having said that, both parties must understand that Ghanaians are losing confidence in democracy itself, largely because of the predominance of corruption. Almost everybody comes into office with a strong argument about corruption about that government. That government also leaves office with a strong allegation of corruption against it. Are we going or are we coming? Where is the reform? We are losing confidence in politics because of things like these. We will shout and shout and shout. Nanado, who we thought was come to deal with everything, and I voted for him in 2016. I voted for him in 2020. I couldn't vote anymore. I couldn't vote for anybody. Because if I had so much confidence in you, for you to come and do something, you who is supposed to be some legal king kong in this country, you couldn't deal with that with the level of power and control you had over our governance system. Now we have your mama coming back again. Strong oral promises. We definitely will be disappointed if we don't see some real action. Where I sit today, I can cut them some slack because I know the processes would have to be followed in a certain fashion. More importantly, reforms in the judiciary. Are you new
in Ghana? Are you new in Ghana? These comments are not new. I just told you when John Mahama far back in 2014,
yes,
what he said.
For the first
These
time.
Comments are not new. But the Auditor General's report,
yes,
right? The last time we were going to the IMF,
yeah,
Occupy Ghana reviewed 5 of the Auditor General's reports previous years. Do you know what it discovered? Total in excess of almost nearly 3 times what we're going for to the IMF for. It's what people had stolen and misused, and we didn't do anything about it.
We submitted it ourselves as part of our.
So wait, I just told you here again.
Yes,
if you take the 2024 report, 18 billion stolen, misused. The Public Accounts Committee, they are talking cha-cha-cha-cha and they are shouting. Everybody is yeah. They say some Tamale, somebody died as a staff of the hospital, 26 months, he was still being paid. Okay? If you put the last 5 years Auditor General's report together, nearly 80 billion Ghanaian cedis was stolen and misused. Tell me who has been jailed for any of that?
None.
So why do you have so much hope?
No, I'm saying that the key thing we need now is the reforms that can deliver the success that we need. Because what is obvious is that the current structure does not deliver it.
Reform for speedy trial. That's it.
Of course. Of course.
That's the problem.
You are representing me in court.
That is the problem.
Of course.
The problem is speedy trial,
investigations, and the trial process. These are the two things. Currently,
these have been problems. Investigations.
Oh, yes. They've always been problems. They've always been problems. And of course, political will. Political will has been a big problem. But for where I sit today, as somebody passionate about this matter, what I see is work being done. And I say this because I see structural reforms resetting. I don't want to use some particular expressions here, but there's some resetting happening gradually within the judiciary. And you know what I'm trying to say. I can't say it too loud. Those steps are being taken. We need reforms in the judicial process itself.
The national security.
Oh, you know exactly what I'm saying. I don't want to start another one. You and I know, so we'll carry on. So we need to have those reforms.
Okay.
When the investigations are done, we can have expedited trials and bring resolution to these things. Are there steps being taken for those reforms? At least if I follow the CSO,
in these our courts,
yes,
in these our courts, where one case has taken about 40 odd years to finish, in these our courts, I've done one case, a land matter, 6 months. It was done and dusted in these our courts.
It's possible.
So it's not about systems, really.
Don't we have an 8-year case running right?
Of course we do.
Exactly, because the system allows that. We shouldn't create a situation where you now have to have the discretion of a judge to force a matter to be resolved within that reasonable time.
If that is what you point as the major problem,
yes,
then
it is a major problem. Go to court right now. You just cited Opuni's case. I don't know whether Opuni was guilty or not guilty. All right, he's a friend. I don't know the case.
His case was terminated by his government.
Of course, but how did he go? Why did he last that long? When the MPP made a huge case about it before they came in 2016, during the 2016 election. How is it a whole Nanado who has so much control over the whole system was not able to deal with Opuni?
The same regime that was complaining about the delay in the system began a process to ensure speedy trial. It didn't work. If you ask them, they will say that some of these people sabotaged that because you had a parliament that they couldn't railroad and do whatever they want.
Right now, the NDC has a super majority in parliament. That is why if we don't get the reforms now, then we are certain that John Mahama never meant us well.
Yeah.
If we don't get the reforms that will enable to pursue this, then I come to
the question the public is asking is that when you wanted a gold ball, do you know when the gold ball law was passed after the government came into office?
It was now within 2-3 months.
2-3 months. It was not the third month. They passed it with the speed of light.
Yes, they did.
So if oral or corruption is your main,
that's a simple.
It's a priority.
Samson. Let me be very. Maybe I should be blunt.
For gold ball,
the NDC got into office. Hold on, the NDC came into office with a certain suspicion about the judiciary. You knew it. We all know it.
Some we all knew.
I also believed it. All right, so I won't even say act as if I'm not a part. I also held that opinion. That matter had to be fixed.
First.
And it's been fixed. All right? We've had the license.
It's been fixed.
It's been fixed. That early part, that suspicion. They brought in they've also brought in people who they feel are balanced.
You are saying that the court was such that if you took people who
said there was a perception.
If you took people
raised the issue of sedentary.
If you took people who had done who had committed acts of corruption, the court will let them go.
Nobody has said
that.
I'm saying that there was a strong suspicion about the judiciary.
Hold on.
Confidence in the judiciary.
Daniel joins us on the phone. And I'm coming to the biggest peacemaker amongst all of you. There's a reason I kept him there. He will be the Trump. He'll be the Trump to give us the peace plan. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we are discussing your frustrations about the delay and how you cannot even see the end of the tunnel to talk about talking about lights at the end of that tunnel, and where your frustration even gives you suspicions that if they are not doing what they are doing, it's either they are complicit or something of the sort.
Yes, Samson, thank you very much, and thank you. Greetings to your panel. And I think what I said has been taken out of context because almost all of you have listened to the excerpt that KSM put together, not the full interview. If you had listened to the full interview, I acknowledge the work being done by the accountant, the Attorney General, the Yoko, OSP, and all others. And I even said that I am not satisfied, not because I was expecting that convictions will have been made by now or monies will have been recovered by now, but my dissatisfaction is about the legal system, the framework.
Yeah, sir, we played your a part of the excerpt, which actually captures part of what you are saying, and it's difficult to say that you were taken out of context because you said 9 months was too long. Now you are saying that you are saying that you are saying that
you have played the entire thing.
No, but even the parts that we played acknowledges what you just mentioned, except that you are now explaining a part of it. Now you have just mentioned something that you acknowledge. Just a minute. Just a second. You said you acknowledge work done by OSP, whoever. They are not. OSP is not doing oral. So which one is that?
No, I'm talking about fight against corruption. I'm not talking about oral.
Okay.
You see, you are talking about oral.
Yes.
I was talking about the fight against corruption and maybe economic crime. So the point I made was that if you listen to the full tape, you will have seen I mentioned some things that I think are not in place. One, I said the legal framework, because we need a law on reverse burden. We need a law to bring finality to prosecution of corruption cases. For instance, 6 months or 1 year must be a time limit. I talked about the need to enhance the capacity of the judiciary so that they can work even in the night, so that the cases can go faster. I listed a whole lot of things which you are not playing. So that is what I'm saying. If these things are not done, I cannot see the end of the tunnel, not to talk about the light at the end, because the prayer of the culprits and their lawyers is that the trial will continue until there is a change in government. And given the current legal framework, that is what is going to happen. So maybe I think that must be taken into consideration.
Okay. Thank you.
We are talking about legal framework.
Thank you. But, you know, we did acknowledge that even at the time when Okujeto and the rest were talking about oral and as it were, getting people excited and getting people's hopes high up there, you were the one who intervened and said all the things that oral had done needed to go through a process of auditing. So we acknowledge that. You said that I want to go specifically to that time and what the specific thing you said around the time. I'm looking at a report on the 11th of February. That's a day after the presentation was made. Bulk of oral report needs an audit to verify procurement breaches. Former Auditor General. So thank you for your intervention.
Thank you very much.
Right. Okay. Yes, Prof.
Just a quick one before then. You know, the crux of what has just been done by Domelevo is very significant. And what it also means, as I was saying, is that we cannot take things just, you see, we have only gotten, we were privy only to a certain content. And when you hear from the horse's own mouth that there was the need to have elaborated on what transpired, maybe to have watched a 30-minute of the entire interview or 15 minutes rather than the excerpt, which could be pieced together, and that has resulted in us assuming that his full content.
Frankly speaking,
mental.
I don't know anything he has said that is new from the excerpt we played.
No, I think we
sometimes these are busy people. They are not watching or listening. Somebody will call them and say, people are saying X, Y, Z. But there's a reason we played it the second time.
No,
When we're playing it the second time, you're having a conversation. You are not listening.
No, I listened. I've watched it already.
Yes, Prof.
So good morning to you once again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to your listeners and viewers. What you see going on for me is when you think of this issue of corruption and the fight against
justified frustrations.
Yes, and the fight against corruption has two dimensions to it: the legal dimension and the political dimension. The former president always used to say, not until you are in trouble and you find yourself on the wrong side of the law, you would never fully appreciate due process. But where I think in the eyes of the public, he was perceived as having lost the fight against corruption is because he took an extremely legalistic stand on it. Let due process work. Let due process work. Except that in the fight against corruption, the public doesn't see due process. Not until you are following a case, not until you read news about it, not until you are privy to adjournments and all of those things. Nobody sees due process.
We saw the
but everybody sees the politics of the fight against corruption, the statements you make, the assurances that you give Ghanaians. That is where you also win the fight against corruption with the public. You have to balance the politics with the legal aspect of it. So isn't it intriguing that now you have some of the voices that were so certain of who was going to go to jail, right? I always play back this tape where a particular individual was listening. Person A, candidate for jail. Person B, candidate for jail, right? And I look at that and I say, maybe this is the lesson also for partisans when they promise a strong fight against corruption. Because it is not as though you are not fully aware of due process, the way our institutions work. You've been in government before. In the midst of all of that, you were still very certain in your engagement with the public of who was going to go to jail, how much money you were going to be able to recover. So when these same voices now say that, but we have to respect the process, we have to allow institutions to work, you can understand why the public will be justifiably frustrated, because in your engagements with the public, nobody ever said, but just so you know, these things take time. It can take forever because the wheels of justice grind slowly. We want to make sure we don't convict innocent people, all of those things. Nobody said that to the public. The public was given assurances that, hey, these quote-unquote crimes allegedly have been committed. It has cost us this much. So that is all.
And they should say we don't want to convict innocent people.
And that is what the public is waiting.
Give you one example of what Oral told us.
Yeah.
They told us that the former National Investigative Bureau boss, Nana Abrakwa, was caught in a land transaction. He said he paid pittance, 160,000 Ghana cedis, for land that should cost in the open market about $700 US.
$700,000.
$700,000 US. That's what they said. Kujetu was blunt and forward with it. So what do you want the person sitting out there to think? Should they agree with you when you say, oh, they should put a caveat there that we don't want to convict innocent people, when you had already told them that this man has stolen land? He paid 160,000 Ghana cedis when the land cost $700,000 US.
Precisely my point. So at this point, the public, and justifiably so, do not want to hear things about investigations and due process and justice grinds slowly.
So are they justified?
The public is justified to feel, because the certainty with which you promise those results, it's all the public is waiting to see. And as I keep saying, nobody sees due process. You can't touch it, you can't feel it. But everybody can see a convicted person in handcuffs or being sent to jail. Everybody can see when...
We see Jubilee House clearing.
That's what I'm saying. So at this point, you have to find a way to start giving, quote unquote, the people what you promised them. look, you can make all the institutional changes, you can make all of the rules. You can even say that now trials should take 1 hour. You still have to balance those new rules with respect for due process. You can't say that because we've changed the rules now, an accused person cannot come to court with the right to self-defense, for example.
No,
but ultimately, I'm not saying that's what you're saying. But
what the people are saying in agreeing with Domelevo in whatever context he put there, the issue is that 7 months or 8 months is too long.
See, the 7 is coming.
No, it's actually not 7. Because you are repeating it. Because you are repeating it, it got to my head. But 8 months is too long. Okay, 8 months is too long because if this is your priority, what do you need? You have all the awesome powers of the state to investigate.
Parliament to support you.
If you need police, if you need CID officers, if you need to recruit people to get this done, you don't need a whole week to get these things fixed. So what's the problem?
I get all of that, but I'm still saying that even when you marshal all your state institutions and all your state resources, you still have to follow due process, right? So again, I agree. And the other thing I would say is the government is a victim of its own political promises and engagement with the people. So the hit that they are facing is justifiable, right? You promised people...
How can you say 160,000 and the thing 700,000? How long should this case take?
So exactly, right?
You this particular case, with the lands and those places that they were claiming they shouldn't have access to those land, go and check the buildings where they have gotten to.
They are up. They are going on.
And I can assure you, if you give them 2-3 more months or so, the projects will be over.
And
that story will be a different story. We'll not be talking about land. We'll be talking about
more grandstanding than governance. So all the things, rumors who were coming and said, a lot of it, seemingly now, is looking like grandstanding and propaganda.
But I mean, something. Imagine when the oral report was done, right? In my opinion, the fanfare with which it was presented, right? And all of the accompanying statements, of course, you do raise the expectations of the public that, oh my goodness, all of these bad things have happened that have cost us this much, then please recover our money. So what I'm saying, and I'll keep saying is, at this point, whether it would take you a day, a month, a year, what the public, I believe, is asking for is, you promised certain particular results.
Yes.
I mean, I found it very instructive in the last AG's public engagement where he said, as an attorney general, I can only prosecute. I can't convict. I 100% agree with him.
They're professional.
But in the eyes of the public, what they are waiting for ultimately, whether you are the one who will do the conviction or not, is certain things were promised and they want to see that. That is why I also found it very worrying that when the General Secretary of the party said, hey, I mean, I even wrote about it in the Daily Graphic, which is, look, God forbid this thing fails. Let it fail because of weak institutions and weak institutional processes. But don't let it fail because the very people who promised it, some turned around to undermine it. And that, for me, is one of the biggest things that I hope the president...
Do you share Senyor's view that people like Domelevo should not be talking because they should be working? And we can confirm that the Attorney General is working with the NIB, IOCO, and the police. So like Senyor said, he is heading a board of the institution that is part of this. So he shouldn't be heard complaining.
But I think there's a part too of that, him also being able to speak, right? Even though he's part of it. Who knows, maybe his public pronouncements would even spare some further action with them, right?
When someone see the end of the tunnel to even see the light, then I have a problem because you are supposed to be part of that pipe, that conduit for resolution.
But maybe he knows something that you and I don't.
He says there's systems. Yes. It's systems. He wants reverse bidding. What the reverse bidding is, and he speaks about also the unexplained wealth orders.
Yes.
So that you don't even have to go to court. Unexplained wealth orders. If you have come into money, wealth, properties, the state will say, Senor,
when you were coming into office, we knew you had 2 houses, you had 2 cars, but now you have 3 companies, you have 5 other homes, you have 10 other cars. They will simply call you and say, explain your source. They won't take you to court. Explain your source. If you can show that the money came from your income, the money came from a loan, it came from an inheritance, it came from a gift or a reasonable source, you are free to go and keep your property. But if you can explain that it came from any of this, the state will simply take them away from you.
Absolutely.
And the reverse bidding is in the civil law countries, French. They use it to fight corruption. So all that the accuser does is to point at Samson and say, he's corrupt, he's done ABC. They don't do more than that. They must go and prove that you actually are corrupt. It is your job to prove to the court that you are not corrupt. He says we need these 2 very quickly.
So like I said, the key things that we should be focused on this oral thing is the reforms. Nana Addo promised that he didn't deliver it. John Mahama said things in 2014 you cited, all right? Where did it go? Nowhere. It means that we have structural problems and also political will problems. By the NDC has no excuse. You have full powers. The president says he doesn't want to call supreme leader, but under the circumstances, he must assume that status and force the matter. Because it's the basis upon which, one of the basis upon which he was brought to office. Frankly, like I tell my brother Bobo, John Mama and Baumia were not on the ballot. It was things like Aura and then Nana Addo, they were the ones on the ballot. So we want that justice. We want that impunity to end. We want to be able to restore confidence in democracy.
Ejapa, don't you think
so if you will not do it, their problem day.
So Senor Ejapa, don't you think sincerely, as a lawyer, I tried to ask you that question,
sure.
But you kept not trying to give an answer. As a lawyer, don't you think sincerely that the guys who are leading oral and the politicians, they've created a problem for the Attorney General, which they should not have? Because the way they went about it, to suggest that this can be done within a short time, when the system does not allow it, they have created a problem for the Attorney General.
I remember saying that the chicken is coming home to roost, no? Because they made it look as if these guys are thieves, we've caught them red-handed, all we have to do is to take them to court and they'll be convicted. Turns out that commitment really, or those statements were not what could actually get people convicted. You need evidence, you need proof that these people have actually committed the offenses or the things that you've accused them of. That's why I'm asking Elikem along the line. At what point do you call people thieves?
So with your legal lenses on, the frustrations are not justified about delays. They are not justified by the public.
But it's the politicians who promise them. So they have a legitimate expectation, like Prof was saying. So if you
but you are a lawyer, you know the system. That's why I'm asking you that.
I'm a lawyer, but I'm a politician. Second, I came here not as a lawyer, I came here as a politician.
Good.
So that's why, look, in all honesty, and Senor, I take it from the point where you say people are getting frustrated with democracy, with our politics. True. Because we brand ourselves thieves.
That is what you do. You all come
on
the same thing.
When we know that some of the things that we are saying, we cannot establish. We do it to ourselves. So people are now beginning to see all of you are thieves. But is that the case? Is that the case? So really, it's their cross that they need to carry. If they will be bold to go and tell the people of Ghana that, look, we made these commitments, we exaggerated, these things are what has to be done, certainly bring people to account, no doubt. I'm not, for the life of me, going to sit here and say that, there are suspicions of wrongdoing, but leave them. No, by all means. Like I said,
this is where we take a break, but I can see Elikem wants to say something.
To go at this.
You should come and apologize for the way you came.
If you have to do so.
You should apologize because the kind of who that came, you were going.
Say you're going to give them 4 billion.
Where do you want to say something?
Where you want to get it from?
21 billion.
21 billion.
You see, what we are losing sight of is the fact that, and I'm reiterating further, that you are not expecting that processes begin immediately. And then you now, and I agree with him when he said, okay, based on things you have said in the past, it is the reason why others feel that, oh, right from when the documents were handed over to you, a week from then, you must begin processes.
So you agree?
It is not, no, never.
You miscommunicated?
No. In the first place, let it not be lost on us as though absolutely nothing is being done. Are we not aware of the National Service
Signals Bureau, National Service?
The Signals Bureau has processes not begun. It's not.
That's like 2, 3 in how many?
Now you will say 2, 3
in 2,400 cases.
We're talking about.
Yes, you're talking 2,400. Out of that 2,400, the Attorney General will need to set some priorities from that. And I'm just giving you two. Maybe they could.
That's not the matter. Dominic is working.
It is not.
Now we are all agreeing. You said the same thing. You talked about processes.
Yes.
All we are saying here is that you miscommunicate.
No,
and I have brought unnecessary pressure. You
created legitimate expectations. Yes. Meanwhile, you knew that you could not carry that out. Those expectations.
I'm sorry, but
so look, let's be honest about it. Okay. Then why are we talking about 9 months? Why are we talking? Why should people be frustrated? If they didn't create the impression that in 3 months this matter was going to happen. The docket that Okudetu and Co went to give to Dominic was not matter.
I remember very well. I was in.
Then
Winnipeg.
You come and hold the Attorney General responsible for what?
In Winnipeg with then candidate Mahama, when he made it clear that the very moment he assumes office, he was going to set up Operation Recover All Loot. Mm-hmm. Did he set it up immediately? He
did.
He did. Have they done their work? Yes, they have. Have they now transferred it to the appropriate authority? Yes, they have.
It's been 8 months. That's the question.
When you say it now, I'm glad we've agreed on 8 months. But even if it's established that it has been taken to that authority, are you expecting that 2,400 documents out of that? Are we assuming that maybe 400 should be prosecution should start for 400? Then we are saying that
all of that.
That is why I brought your mind back to what the president said from Winnipeg.
No, forget about the president. With your permission,
he was the number one who made the point.
I agree. But let's look at the the things that
we take a break
here.
We
all agree.
We take a break here.
Dominic is working hard on it to take time.
Okay.
Let's just agree.
Thank you.
Now we've come to the point that we all agree.
Thank you.
You have said it even more than
that is a foregone conclusion.
You should have said that before. You should have made a thing like tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much.
He said tomorrow morning.
When we return, when you live in a country where as many as 4 million people benefit from gold, as in through small-scale mining or whatever you call it, and 52% of your gold export proceeds come from small-scale mining, and we are told that over 85% of small-scale mining is actually galamsey. How do you win a fight against that? Naimos has been on the rampage. It's getting some applause, but to what extent? We'll be right back.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valixlease.com or call 0244-644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valix Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Strong and refined, the skincare you deserve. Dream.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or being late, of course.
Go be the luckiest, go be from your job, be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're lucky, everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up a boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the son of man be?
Hey!
Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial *712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
What will you do when you win big? With over 2 million Ghana cedis up for grabs, transact more than 100 Ghana cedis with your Momo app, and you could win daily, weekly, and monthly cash prizes, and 100,000 Ghana cedi grand prize. Bank transfers, POS, and third-party transactions also qualify. This promo runs in collaboration with the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's talk hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are normal structures located in the anus of all mammals.
But it is only man who suffers hemorrhoidal disease because of the erect closer you have assumed and the squatting that we do to empty our bowel. Hemorrhoids consist of a special type of blood vessels which fill with blood when we are moving our bowel and help to cushion the anus against the force of transmitting the stool. Afterwards, they empty their blood, collapse, help seal the anus to maintain continence. Over time, these vessels lose the elasticity of their walls, become dilated, permanently filled with blood, leading to congestion of the hemorrhoids. The symptoms of hemorrhoids are bleeding and prolapse of the hemorrhoids when passing stool, itching and feeling of warmth in the anus and anal discharge. Laser, ligature, and longo are the modern, minimally invasive, most effective, and painless methods of treating hemorrhoids today.
Winterber Hospital, First Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
From across Africa, they come with dreams. At Academic City, they find purpose.
Studying biomedical engineering has opened my mind to a world of innovation. As a parent, seeing my daughter class at ACT gives me peace of mind.
ACT didn't just teach me skills, it gave me the confidence to lead change.
A world-class faculty, hands-on learning, a campus that inspires bold thinking. Join a community building Africa's future today. Academic City University, educating future-ready leaders.
Smile, Look lively, okay? Smile, smile. Is the money too small?
A bad stomach ruins your day. Don't let it. Take Gastron, your most effective antacid for the relief of symptoms of peptic ulcer, heartburn, gas pain, flatulence, and indigestion.
Hey guys, what are you waiting for? Let's go, let's go.
Mwah. Can you bring down the smiles more?
Gastron, effective relief from stomach discomfort. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Every dream starts with a prayer. And every prayer ends with a promise. At Blue Financial Services, it is our passion to make you smile, to show you that your smallest deposits can lead to major financial wealth. From the early days, taking that first big step to the days of joyous maturity, we will be with you so that when it is time to dream again and you're ready to invest your hopes and dreams into the future, we will still be here with you. So dream again and trust in Blue Financial Services. Visit our branch today for a better future tomorrow and trust in Blue Financial Services.
Spoke about it. Welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's the most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And my guest, you have been listening to so far, Andrew Jakpa, former MP secondee and former Minister for Tourism. Elikem Kotoko is Deputy CEO of the Forestry Commission, who are going to dechemicalize our waters so that, you know, we have a way of helping with the galamsey situation. Senor Hosi is convener, One Ghana Movement, and trustee of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Dr. John Osai Kwapong is CDD fellow. So now let's talk about Naimos and inroads they are making and see if that is the way forward. Prosecution security consultant joins us. Erasos Saridonko, multiple award winner with the multimedia team, also joins us. Right. So maybe we start with you, Elikem. Naimos has been showing teeth and got some praise this week, but people think we are familiar with that. That's not new. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you, Samson. We will not be doing the same things and be expecting different results. In the past, there wasn't that show of commitment, and in this fight against galamsey. But maybe to start with the very profound statement by the then president, who said he was prepared to put his presidency on the line. It's one thing being prepared to put the presidency on the line, and it's another thing putting your presidency on the line. When you talk about the gold for the gold mafia expose, the Anasys expose, Charles Bissiou and all of that, let's leave that side. Now, President Mahama took over, and with the goodwill of the people and her political will to confront this, the first statement he made was to make sure that there was no new licenses to be issued, especially into our forest reserves. This is because an LI was passed, 2462, that at a point allowed more than 30 companies to go into our forest reserves in the name of mining. And they were not only mining, but they were doing most of these things inappropriately. Then, so having taken that first step out of about 9, which I want to outline, that alone was not enough. But at least it allowed you the leverage to be able to watch the space and tell that no new licenses. And as a result of that, as I speak with you, the Deputy Lands Minister, who chairs a committee to review over 2,748 licenses. 55 has been revoked instantly, 316 found to be clean, and 907 are the risk of being revoked as well too. Now, to further...
And about a dozen new ones issued, right?
No new ones. That's, I'm telling you, no new licenses has been issued ever since President Mahama took office. Then further, in the past, excavators used to just pass through our ports and no registration, no records. Now, we are making sure that these are registered with the DVLA. They are going to be tracked and properly geofenced in order to ensure for efficient monitoring. Then the sector minister, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi-Boa, who doubles also as caretaker minister for Environment, Science and Technology, and MP for Olembele, further kicked in motion a letter to the Attorney General that, look, we need to repeal the LI 2462. Which the Attorney General made a vow just last Friday in the meeting with the CSOs that on 14th October, which was when the Parliament was supposed to sit, and now it's been postponed though, but at the next sitting of Parliament, that was a major document to be presented for consideration. Then also there were 9 forest reserves that were breached. I mean, that were a no-go declared as red zones at the time we took over. But as we speak now, that have all been repossessed by government through its effort with Naimos and the security agencies. Further, the minister has again declared water bodies and our forest reserves as security zones. These are semblance of security measures being taken to ensure we nip this in the bud. One may suggest that you should have just issued all of this at a go. But, well, that may not always be right. Some may also argue for it. You cannot take out the fact that having done all of these, it then now boils down to enforcement also to serve as a major deterrent to those who are engaged in this enterprise, which is environmentally impacting negatively and affecting all of us sitting here. Because even if water is put before us, no matter how clean it is, based on turbidity, it does not necessarily mean that it is very healthy for our consumption. To borrow the words of my brother to my left, when we are now asked to take balanced diet or balanced meals, we are not careful, we are now taking balanced poison.
Yeah.
You get it. And so we all know of this, and nobody can rule this out. And I have always emphatically made this example I want to state here again. You may be in my own hometown in Namfoigan or Abo in the Volta region somewhere and feel you are not so concerned. But look at this example. You are somewhere, there's no galamsey, etc. You think you have clean water. You have a daughter who is maybe 10 years, 12 years, definitely expected to marry in the next 20 years. Now, maybe the gentleman he is supposed to marry in the next 20 years comes from the Western North. And that child's just been born.
Your child will go to secondary school in Cape Coast.
And it's been born with defect, and maybe a year or so later loses the life. When your child is no longer getting married after 30 years, 40, 50, you will be blaming nature and blaming all the witches in your house, saying that your daughter is not. Maybe you're not being concerned about that which was happening over there is also a result. So we must all be concerned. As if that is not enough, the introduction of the Naimos, National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, headed by one Colonel Dominic Boer, is aimed at coordinating the efforts to make sure we have just a single task force to fight this battle. Reason being that in the past we have had Operation Vanguard, Operation Halt, this and that, the police, etc. Some became a compromised force just to extort or perpetrate other actions other than what they were expected to do. But when you have a singular task force doing this, it means that everybody, do not constitute unto yourself law that I am national security, I am this, I am that. When you have any snippet of information, the best thing to do is to report that or hint the Naimos. So they can do that. I'm sure we are all aware. I think even yesterday, for instance, there was similar operations in the Ankobra at Pristiahuni Valley, in even Ahiafotu, and so many places. They are doing this. Now, what are we doing differently from the current regime? This time around, from the previous regime, this time around, this Nimos comprising the armed forces, the immigration, the police, the NACOC, NSB, etc. This time around, these men and women will be deployed to these places permanently and on rotational basis until further notice. It is to make sure that you do not go there, then cure the problem there, retreat, and then the guys also get back again. So yes, Naimos is now coming to do something new, and I am not surprised that they're receiving commendation and applause for what they are doing. I will even be the first person to say here now that that alone is not enough, because we are expecting more. We are expecting more because the Ghanaian want to start seeing the water body clean. But I must say emphatically that seeing the water body clean alone is not enough, because there are heavy metals containing that water. Aquatic life has been completely killed. The water quality has been compromised. That feeds into the soil, which has also affected the fertility. Crop yield is then affected. Then that is where the burden on our health becomes a major concern. Crop quality. And it also means that it is putting a burden on government expenditure on health. So we may now be looking at having to set up mine hospitals or mine-related hospitals to address these matters. Then also there's a concern about alternative livelihoods for these people. One will say that each time you try to talk of livelihoods for these, alternative livelihoods for these people, you are not saying anything, because whatever you are doing, this gentleman is making 1,000 cedis a day or 2,000 a day. You want to give him an alternative livelihood that will give him 1,000 cedis over a month. It doesn't make sense. But we must agree that there's a lot of greed that has made people venture into this enterprise. However, the key component of education, which is strong and consistent advocacy, can help cure some of this. I saw a video which I always make reference to again. A gentleman who was bare-chested walking to a site where his champagne was burnt. And he said, hey, into John Mahama, I buy a tuba on the obey, champagne, and yes, she messant of. To somebody like that, out of illiteracy, he just thinks that, well, I still have money to buy another one. Whether I'm impacting the environment negatively or not, he doesn't care. Education is very key. Now, this education, we must approach this whole thing short, medium, and long-term approaches. Why are we going to school? The purpose of education is to reform and impact society positively. And so when we are going to school now, we used to have the Red Cross, the wildlife clubs, and all that. We can now be enforcing strongly, especially in most impacted regions, forest clubs, wildlife clubs, environmental clubs, etc., in our schools. As we're doing so, we are engaging our traditional authorities, i.e. the chiefs, traditional authorities, opinion leaders, youth groups, etc., on finding resolutions to some of this. I am aware, for instance, President Mohammed's program, the Ejumewura program. One may say that is infinitesimal compared to what they will be getting from that enterprise, which is why this is rather a deterrent for them. But when Naimos is stationed there, preventing them from doing all of this, and you are trying to give them an alternative, some may now be learnable to what is being done. That, okay, let's do
right. So what we are looking at presently,
yes,
you have gone beyond that to give us the blueprint, sort of, as to the approach. So, as we were told, Naimos, entered the Chumamponia forest, and then seized excavators in a massive crackdown. They promised that they would deal ruthlessly with the recalcitrant illegal miners, because that was the direction of the lands minister to them. They said they will patrol the galamsey sites 24/7 with troops, drones, and hotlines. Now, we're getting information, for example, and these are fact checkers. They say on Monday, we were treated to news of arrest and takeover of gangway by Naimos. In less than a week, gangway is back into the hands of galamseyers. And guess who their spokesperson is? They say an NDC ward chairman, we are told, is giving the history and justifying why gangway should be left in the hands of youth, the NDC youth. Have you become familiar with this?
I am not. May I ask who especially, or who in particular has made this reference? Reason being that I am fully aware of gangway.
Fact checkers, meaning the organizations enjoy its own fact
Well, because I am aware that a major crackdown was carried out over there. And there is absolutely no way, I am on your side,
that they can go back.
That they can go back instantly.
Abroad crime.
This is not
abroad crime. What's happening?
Yes, I agree.
Did they go back?
No. You see, that is why I'm telling you that what went on there, every structure has been totally condemned, reduced to ashes.
We just do another one.
Well, and you see, that is why I'm telling you that deployments will be done to make sure that our men, Nimos, will be permanently stationed at all these enclaves and make sure on rotational basis. The reason for rotational basis is to avoid...
Hold on for a minute. Erastus Asaridonko, Professor Kwesieni, thank you very much for your patience. Erastus, you have been on the ground. This is something we should applaud, but from where you sit, is it sustainable?
Well, thank you very much. Gangway, I'm reliably informed, was raided 3 days ago. So it will be inaccurate that for a week now, people have come back.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 days ago, the place was raided and settlements and other things were burnt. But I would say that we had the Akufo-Addo
there's supposed to be a video by Smart TV, which is shared with me to me by Nathan Gaduga. You know Nathan. Yes. You may want to see it and be sure that gangway remains demolished and a red zone.
Unless the gangway I know the Naimos raided 3 days ago, it's not the gangway that Nathan is talking about. So right from here, we'll check the grounds again to see what is happening.
All right.
What I wanted to say is that, under the Akufo-Addo administration, there were a series of actions like this one. We started with Galamstop, which I was part of. We moved into Operation Vanguard. We went to Operation Halt 1 and 2. And all these things, the common thing that made them fall or did not meet their expectation was political manipulation. In fact, they manipulated these four exercises to the extent that where to go, who to strike, and who to arrest was determined from the corridors of power. And that is why they failed. Yes, Naimos has started something I've been following keenly, and I've been also checking the ground as well. And so far, so good. They've done some major strikes in the Cape 3 points. Cape 3 points have been a hotspot for illegal mining for some time now. They've done some works along the Ankubra, which is very dear to my heart because of the people who are mining directly on the river bed. I will say that it is good, but it must accompany a certain routine to be able to be sustained.
So, Erastus, this place where we saw the raid track being completely removed for the purposes of gold, have you been able, can you tell us which place is this and whether the state's security is protecting that infrastructure?
I understand it's within the Insuta area, within the central region, thereabout. And since then, there have been some security raids in that area to stop that activity at the area.
Okay. Hold on for me briefly. Professor Kwesianin.
Yes.
Yes, this looks like something that ought to be applauded. But the question again is, how is this sustainable? The arrest they made and the caliber of people they picked up. Once again, your Chinese are in there, or you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything is being done.
Well, I think something is being done, but as Erastus has said, we need a better grasp and understanding of the networks, the financial kingpins behind this, where the money goes, how the money comes in, who purchases what. We are only playing with the small boys and small girls. So until we really come to grips with the powers that be behind this process, then I think, yes, we will have superficial successes, but really making a dent into this is still a joke. So we are only looking at short-term successes and gains, but overlooking the long-term, I would argue, interventions that will cure this. If I put on my lens of my understanding of how those in the mafia work or those in narco states work, and here I think the work that Professor Apeje has done is very instructive here, in which he describes Ghana as a galamsey state. And this is what he says, that for a galamsey state, it is a state that has been captured and linked to higher forms of grand corruption. In a galamsey state, the practice of what we are talking about is normalized, and the people are silenced or limited to mere criticism of the negative practices, and while the criticism are also met with counter-narratives, closed in legalese and big English. Okay, so, and I think the president himself has indicated that we are chasing the small boys and girls. Now, if Naimos, as the previous speaker from the Forestry Commission, Elikent, said, is bringing together different groups, then it raises a much more serious problem with the performance of our security agencies. How can Naimos do what it is doing and the statutory security agencies and the Act 1030 of 2020, the Signals Act, Act 1040, also of 2020, and the National Security Strategy document that classifies 4 types of threats in which illicit mining is located in there, cannot get this job done. Then it's a matter of the nature of the political will that must back the institutional processes and give them teeth to the level.
You just confirmed what Erastus, our boots on the ground on this matter is talking about, that it's actually a question of the political will. Asana Nankoma also writes and goes back to this issue and says, what we are dealing with is not lack of resources or brains to solve the problem, but it is lack of political will.
So if the will is, and you would hear statutory security forces from the Ghana Armed Forces, National Intelligence Bureau, and all these organizations that give us the space, and within X number of weeks, this will be a finished problem.
So give them the space, and Naimos won't work, because there's a 400 strong army. That is in Naimos dealing with this. Is that not so?
When the 15,000 or so and the Halt and the Vanguard would not do it. I mean, we have a statutory armed force. Other security agencies, from forestry to customs, immigration, specifically trained to protect the state from threats, either from without or from within. If they cannot do it, then I think the successes of these 400 individuals led by this kennel, interesting as they are, will not be able to deal with the problem. And it shows our lack of commitment to long-term response and bringing this challenge under control.
But this is the group that has been able to take over the red zones, the places that formerly you could not have access. The 9 of them, the Tano Anya, Ofen, Shelter Belt, the Asinayo, and all of those places. This is the same body that's been able to, destabilize these people from there and taking over.
It raises fundamental questions. So how come the intelligence services couldn't do this previously? How come the Ghana Armed Forces couldn't do this? How come the Forestry Commission with its forestry guards could not do this? No, I think...
No, I'm talking about you expressing doubt over their capacity when, a larger capacity of troops couldn't do it. That's why I'm saying this is what they have done.
Yes, but that then raises something even more disturbing questions. What is it that 400 people have been able to do that all these other institutions could not do and maintain? Okay, so I'm only raising the question that how do we sustain it? How can it be sustained in the long term? Because we know that Hawks, Vanguard, were all corrupted at a point in time. So what is my brother Elikem doing to protect these 400 people from the interventions that we know big money can do?
Right. So hold on for me. Erastus, you have said earlier that the major problem was actually the political will, where all these 3 or 4 different phases, you actually had people at the top determining who should be arrested and so on and so forth. Tell me, what difference have you seen in the Naimos, and does it give you any hope? It may be a small 400 force, but as we understand, 9 previously no-go forest reserves have been repossessed. They are doing a good job, are they not? 450 excavators have been seized at various police stations, district offices, military bases. Over 1,400 arrests until this latest one was made. So now maybe we'll be going to up to maybe 1,600 or so. Over 500 chamfans have been destroyed. over 1,000 water pumping machines, large numbers of heavy weapons have all been taken.
I agree with Professor Enin to a large extent. You see, we have done all that as you put them. We have made a series of arrests. The IGP's men seized over 100 excavators that are currently parked in Samraboy, where I'm monitoring closely. They've made some gains. But you realize that we keep going back to the same thing again and again, because I see it as a firefighting approach. I do not doubt the capacity of Naimos. No. Yes, they are capable and they can do it. But I see them as a rapid response rather than a solution to the problem. And this is my reason. If we do not involve and make sure that DCEs who are heads of DISEX and NewsEx and others are held accountable strictly to what is happening within their jurisdiction, then they will continue to fight, but the moment they leave, the people will come back, just as we are seeing. The president needs to crack the whip on district chief executives. Remember, recently, we went to the ground and we filmed illegal mining polluting the BC River and the Subri River, which are tributaries of the Tano River. And we filmed the galamsey that is polluting it. When we put it out quickly, the DCE for Tano North went with chiefs to a totally different area within the same jurisdiction and filmed a clean BC to try and deceive the public. I call that disinformation. This was carefully and calculated, done by the DCE to sway attention from the action that was going on downstream. This is criminal. And if the president does not crack down on such DCEs and such appointees at the local level, then we'll be going back and forth, just like we witnessed in the Akufo-Addo administration. Naimos will go, they will crack down, they will arrest, and then we'll come back to the same thing. Again, we're talking about prosecution, which is another form of deterrence. We are making serious arrests, quite a number of them. What has happened to prosecution? How many of them have been prosecuted? How many of them are online to be prosecuted? The deterrence factor is missing. Whether we, the media, are not following up on them, or we are losing sight of what is happening to the people who have been arrested. What
exactly can district chief executives do? In 2024, we encountered this. This was a regional minister, not even a district chief executive. I think somewhere in the western region. He had led a task force of police and even soldiers, and they couldn't match the galamseyers and their weaponry. Did you hear that story?
So that is where Naimos comes in. If you need a stronger force, if you are overwhelmed, that's where you invite them in to support you. But you should not sit down and watch that thing happen. You see, the danger in allowing them to sit down idly by and watch is that many of them are compromised. And I'm saying that on authority. If you want me to give you examples, I can give you. Many of them are compromised. And because they control the security at the local level, when they are compromised, people take advantage and they do what they like. And many of the police officers at the local level, district, municipal, are also compromised.
Right.
So when you have the local security compromised in that manner, then definitely they will even thwart the efforts of Naimos. So there must be a consistent, coordinated kind of fight to be able to achieve the result.
A final question to you and Professor Enin. So start with you, Erastus. We're talking about kingpins that when they are dealt with, will bring this down. What do you say the arrests and arraignments in the courts of Akonta Mining, Chairman Wuntumi, and the other gentleman will do to the fight?
This should have been done way back. If it had been done, we wouldn't be where we are today. Because in the galamsey field, when you arrest the kingpins like that, big men who are destroying and polluting rivers, the message trickles down very fast and people start removing their items even before security apparatus go there. But we have allowed that to fester. Akonta mining is not the only campaign we're talking about here. There have been others. Talk about heritage imperial mining. In 2018, there is evidence which indicates that they were mining in their Pamprama Forest Reserve illegally. And they destroyed large tracts of the forest, which sparked series of destruction that today we have 50% of that forest reserve gone. What has happened to the directors of Heritage Imperial? They have metamorphosed, gone into other ventures. They are still doing what they do. And we have not taken time to deal with it. What has happened to them? Are we not arrested?
Do you know, as a matter of fact, that there's evidence presented to security and they've done nothing about this?
But there's evidence in my documentary, Destruction for Gold, when they started mining their Pamprama Forest Reserve in 2018. That is captured in my documentary. The task force, Galamstop, that went there to stop them, they are still alive. Mr. Chuman Pofwajikum, who led Galamstop at the time to seize over 35 excavators from that forest, he's still alive. He's not gone anywhere. He has documented what happened over there. Things they seized from that forest as evidence. He has documented them. He has receipts that he handed gold that we seized from that forest to the appropriate quarters. And he was giving receipts. And he has packed them all in a book. I've seen it. So if really the security agencies are looking for evidence to nail this particular infraction, they would have found it. And that is why I keep saying that in the case of Akonta mining, for example, when myself and your very self, at the time we went to the National CID, you remember, we kept demanding answers. They were telling us to prove whether indeed it was Akonta mining who was mining in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve, when the man himself has not denied. And they refused to go to the ground to gather evidence to support their prosecution. The same thing is happening now. If we do not keep these big people in check and use it to serve as a warning to the others, then we'll have more people, new people coming in and engaging in that infraction.
All right. So thank you. Professor Enin, the arrests of someone who was thought to be untouchable, how much that, what does it do to the fight, so to speak?
Well, once more, it sends a symbolic gesture, or it's a symbolic gesture. Erastus says this fellow ought to have been arrested long ago. I think the AG has told us that the file got missing. Okay, somebody within the interstices of the state stole the file because he had been bottled. Now, nobody has been arrested for hiding that file. Okay, so if it is the same people that we expect to suddenly turn coat and be seen to be supporting the president's fight, then nothing is going to happen in the long term. That leads me to my second point about this generalized conversation.
But before your second point, do you have hope that people who are said to be within this government, who are also part of the kingpins, will be fished out and dealt with?
No. And that ties to you are really very smart, Samson, because it ties into my second point.
Okay, then let's hear it.
This noise about declare a state of emergency and the argument that we haven't exhausted all the avenues. Declaring a state of emergency will not work if it is the same people who must ensure that the state of emergency is implemented. Because they've been in the system, they failed, and suddenly we think by the stroke of the pen from the president, they should become effective, they should become loyal to the state, they should turn their institutions around to be able to deliver the public goods. No, it doesn't work that way.
If it will make no difference and it meant no big deal, why is the president hesitant in declaring state of emergency?
Because it's the same people who have been there the last 10 years, who are still within the state apparatus, who are going to get a state of emergency to work or not to work.
Yeah, that's my point. If it is just a matter of nomenclature and it doesn't mean anything, the president, the government will rather declare it than suffer the backlash it is getting for not declaring it.
No. Because if he declares and nothing happens, I mean, can't even worsen the situation. Because a state of emergency is very particular. Okay,
this is not a laughing matter, but we are laughing.
Because we've been joking with this for such a long time. Who within the public sector who has been part of this canker that we are talking about has been punished? The AG tells us, to go back to the Akunta mining thing, that the docket got lost. How? And suddenly the docket reappears. Because I've been questioning the timing of putting people before statutory institutions when governments change. When did we get access to these facts? My final point relates to the talk about guns. When you have your statutory security forces who follow a minister to a mining site and they are outgunned, the symbolism in that is that, look, we can take on the state. Okay, so we've got to ask ourselves, how do we want to deal with this?
Prof, before you leave us, just tell us in 1 minute something you have told us over and again. And last week I had a retired military officer also, telling us about the national security implications of these pictures we are seeing of galamseyers, getting armed all over the country, so armed that it gets to a point, places are declared red zones, and the state security is even not able to access these places because of armed thugs. What's the danger?
Well, the danger is that the state's capacity and willingness to protect itself and to protect the tools that it needs to protect itself are basically non-existent. So Samson, give me about 2 months. My team and I will be going to the field to do the third baseline survey, looking at the number of guns that are unregistered in Ghana, looking at the state of our magazines and our armories. And then we'll be able to come out with a specific figure that tells us what type of guns are available, who has what, in which region, and in what district. Already,
should we expect a militia that will terrorize us?
I think it's important that we don't frighten the listeners. So that I will share with you privately.
Thank you
but
very
there
much.
are 2 studies. There are several studies. One, that one part or one group from Italy, an Italian mafia, brings in enough dirty money to buy gold. So this is free consultancy for the national intelligence and the financial intelligence. Okay? One Italian mafia group brings in dirty money to buy gold, takes it, sells it wherever, cleans the money, and takes it back to Europe. That's number 1. Number 2, we know, and it's proven beyond doubt, that with the exception of Mali, Ghana is the second country, gold-producing country, in which the leakages are massive. Okay? Now, I think Elika might be able to tell us, but the initial calculation shows that about $2 to $2.5 billion worth of small-scale gold oozes out of the system every year. That leads to organized criminal groups having an interest in ensuring that whatever Naimos is achieving right now will be resisted. And I can tell you that there's going to be resistance. And that is why I think we need to bring this country forward.
Thank you very much, Professor Kwesi Enin. And last week I also hosted Major Retired Ebenezer Kwache Ajiman, security risk and leadership expert, who has done a research in this area and tells us how this has become, transnational, crime, and talking about how within our region, it poses a danger. And they are all willing to speak to you privately about a certain danger, security threat to us in the very near future. It almost looks like you cannot overcome it because you have allowed it to grow to a certain point. But they are not willing to talk about it publicly, like he just did.
I cannot say we won't talk about the thing publicly, because when something hits the fan, everybody here will scatter. So let's just face it. What did we say when we were seeing the pictures? We got to the same point. We have allowed small militias to fester on our soil. Very soon they'll coordinate. Since we are also coordinating Naimosically, they'll also coordinate militially, and then they will start dealing with us as a country. Now you have gold running not just in the south, it's going all the way to the north. Even areas that Boku are beginning to have, there are suggestions that there are certain kinds of not necessarily gold, but mineral finds there. You don't know what we are dealing with. The security implication of this, the foolishness of politicians. You are losing your political power by trying to even entertain this thing that you think is funding you. All the politicians don't find political will to cure this problem because this problem has owned them, and they don't realize that very soon they will even be incognito. No, see, so please let's get real about it.
Measured in your
I can't be. I'm not. Bobo. I'm not being measured about reality and facts. I'm tired of TV compliance. We are dealing with the lives of our children. We are dealing with the future of this nation. Our statehood is at risk. If as a country we've not been able to build nationhood and we're actually even struggling to now maintain our statehood, what sense is that? You were seeing it to yourself. You were saying it's damn serious. So what is the measurement?
No, I know. But
what is the measurement?
No, I'm saying because of the accusation that every politician is being funded by galamsey.
Please, Bobo.
Because that's not true.
Said every politician. All the politicians. All the parties are being funded. Bobo, you know it.
Oh,
Bobo,
no, I don't.
Let's not lie. You don't need to be funded. You know that all the political parties are funded by galamseyers as well. Anyway. You and I know. We all sitting here. We know people who are suspected galamsey activists or what the operators. Why are we sitting on Council of State and other places? Why are we pretending as if we don't know what we are saying? The pretense in this country, we should stop. You are seeing this is a militia, Bobo. It's a militia. And it's a militia. So it's not time for us to start sugarcoating words. The risk is real. Our food is at risk. We are eating poison. People there, look at the food they are eating. And we know human beings. The water is at risk. Livelihood, sustainable livelihood in our vegetation, the forest is at risk. Can you imagine the nonsense? We go and clear and destroy the forest to mine. Look at the trees there. You have blackwood. Sometimes we don't even realize that possibly we are even destroying $2 million. That's because we are looking for some $500,000. We don't know this. Because these are protected reserves. The quality of wood there, nobody does the evaluation. All they just see is that equipment. It goes there, the excavate. Nobody is really valuing the state. Ghana today cannot even tell us the cost of this whole problem to us in the long term and in the short term. What we have here is a major crisis. And I'm tired of this Nimos thing. We are part of it. We support Nimos. This thing will not go anywhere if we don't put proper accountability measures across the chain. Mr. President, your power. You can direct things without even moving an inch by holding people just accountable. And we too have to hold you accountable. That's what we said the last time. We don't want to hear whether it is state of emergency or what. Mr. President has his power. He can decide how he wants to use it. The only thing we want to see a safer country. So what's that benchmark in there? So I want to see studies like Prof. Edin and the Major funded by the state so that we have recurring reports. We should have water quality reports on a monthly basis to see if our rivers, what kind of metals are in there. Are they healthy for our consumption? Ghana Water, your stability report should be published every day. Everybody should see what is coming in and what is also going out. When you open the tap, what do you see? We should know what went into that station. Every station in this country should be there. You also have the forest. One last one. We have the forestry report. He should be giving us a monthly report on the state of our forest. That will be our monitoring of His Excellency the President. If everybody can see that the water is not getting better, you can't come and be telling me, showing me rates, 1 rate, 2 rates, and use it to try and mask us. We are not interested in the rates. We are only interested in the ability of the rates to give us the results we want. Good water, better food, our forest reserve protected, and our security infrastructure intact. This is what we want. So the president should trickle it down, hold these people accountable. DCs, MCs, regional ministers, sack them.
Yeah, just a quick one before.
And in any case, where are the kingpins?
Okay, quickly.
Just a quick one. I must commend the sector minister for what he's doing.
Fantastic.
It is Honorable Emmanuel Malkoff.
Why is there Jesus in this matter?
Friday, yes, today Saturday. Friday, for instance, he's now made it clear that every week there will be regular updates from his ministry in that regard. He's
published the information,
even the
forestry data.
No, it's been done. And then so at Forestry Commission also, same is going to be done to make sure that there's a regular update for the Ghanaian to know what the state of this is, what is going on. And
we want to know the water situation every day at Ghana Water. We want to see the forest report every month. Let's just clear, not they will give me general update funny for no. We should see matrices that we can all monitor as a country.
I think this is no
okay.
Reason
Prof,
that it's
Prof
already
you've been watching this for a long time.
He's the last. And he's the man who has the last thing.
You have to
let's start. You will make the peace. The peacemaker coming. Yes, Prof.
Why he knows his own piece is suspicious.
And like I said, if you have had the benefit of reading his Ankuma's, piece, he deals with the thing excellently about how we are not enforcing our laws, however good they are, and everything else. We allowed for a whole period since we began to license small-scale miners and all. And we're expected that even if any concession is given, it needed to go to Parliament for ratification. We sat down for decades without ratifying one, so that there will be parliamentary oversight on these licenses. We issued them in the hundreds, and there was no oversight. Occupy Ghana had to come and complain. So in 2024, just around when, 2023, 2024-ish, when we are talking elections, then midnight, Parliament goes to ratify en masse all the leases that have not been ratified. So he says, part of the problem, we have created a legacy. We didn't investigate some of these people well. So it is actually not about lack of, brains or lack of resources. It is political will. You agree?
Yes. And if you look at, I recall in the lead up to the 2024 election, when galamsey became an issue again, and even post the election, when I sometimes, follow these conversations, I say to people I engage privately on this matter, go back and take a look at the manifestos of our two main political parties. If you combine those two manifestos, you don't even see the word galamsey being used more than 6 times across the two manifestos. My reading of it was, it appears as though, without saying it directly, there was this conscious attempt not to create the impression that we are going to take this really strong anti-galamsey stand, even though there was this, it's a bad thing, etc., right? That's part of the way I see this political will thing manifesting. It's an election year. Yes, we'll put in good ideas on how we can fight this menace, but you walk away with this impression that, hey, let's not create this impression that when we come in, we're going to bulldoze everybody out of the way, but rather we use beautiful narratives like, greater regulatory oversight and administrative support, and not that those things are bad ideas, but how you even communicate what you want to do policy-wise around these things may give either the impression to those engaged in it some level of comfort that says, yeah, maybe I'm safe, or no, this I am not safe. If we are looking at all of these pictures, the stories that Erasmus is sharing, then you see even the entanglement of our own state institutions, the very institutions that we are looking at fighting this thing, also being sort of compromised in certain places. How do you muster that political will eventually to do this?
Soldiers went to Vanguard, soldiers went to do Vanguard, They were now even holding and helping the galamseyers.
I was on a show,
we saw it on TV.
I was on a show 2 years ago where one of the persons involved in these security operations said, even at some point, some of them even became compromised and started offering protection to the very people. So my last point is, what political will? Is it that at some point we have to make it an issue where there are no winners and losers, right? That our two political parties are able to get to a place of political consensus and say, look, we have traded political jabs over this. We've made each other politically vulnerable to galamsey. Can we get to a point where I'm not trying to score points or I'm not trying to make you vulnerable? Can we get to a place where we both agree that, look, let's master the will, however we are entangled or not entangled.
Ejapa, is it possible to get to that place when you have people in government now, like Felix Kwache Ofosu, sometime in 2020, was it 2023? Yeah, he wrote Galamsey government. You remember those times were the times that you guys just hated us for doing galamsey almost on a daily basis. Is it possible to get to the point he's saying when you, the politicians, do it this way?
We really don't have a choice. We need to get there. Why I was surprised that the president's engagement that he had with the CSOs last time did not even include political parties. Because, look, Samson, I mean, when I say to my friends in the NDC that I really wish them well, they don't believe me.
I believe.
But one thing that I can assure you that when I say I wish you well, I really mean it, is the fight against galamsey. Because look, we all come from out of Accra. We drive to our hometowns. We see the rivers. We see them. And it's sad how we have played politics with galamsey to the point where it's gotten to a level that it's gotten. And it's politics. Because look, when President Akufo-Addo said that he is prepared to put his presidency on the line, he meant it. He meant well. What did you do when you were in opposition at the time? He banned small-scale mining for 2 years. We played politics for this. And look, let's be sincere with ourselves. It has to stop.
Thank you.
It has to stop. I mean, I won't play politics with galamsey because we see the destruction on a day-by-day basis. We live it. Now they say it's entered our food. We all go to the market. They don't mark the cassava and plantain. This one is coming from a safe haven. So please, look, Mr. President.
Okay.
You can take it from me that the MPP as a party, and we commend the work that Naimos is doing. Today, we are being told that it's not a 1 week fight like we were told when you guys were in opposition looking for power, and that it's short, medium, long term. Do whatever it takes. You have the power. We can only talk. Like we were told by Felix Kwache Ofosu and Aaron Idrusu a couple of years ago. We can only criticize. You have the power of state. We won't play politics with it like you did. Get this thing done. And the credit will come to you.
Okay, let me take a break here. But you guys, you have a lot to do. The Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. Do you hear that now? What's the name? Excavators are being brought in dismantled parts. It's a story I heard. I was shocked. We'll be right back.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Dream.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valix Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Be the luckiest, go be from your be luckiest, from not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest, everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya, God, the boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the Son of Man be?
Hey!
Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial *712#. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
You're right back. Thank you very much. And I know we've had a difficulty with DSTV and satellite, but you're following us also on virtually. Thank you very much. It's brought to you by Bank of Africa, strongest group and closest partner, MTN everywhere you go. Ashesi University, educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance, simply dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. Syntax Tank is strong as tough. Activa International Insurance, our clients are passion. International Facilities Management Association. They're proud to be associated with your most authoritative news analysis platform, Newsfile. Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature. And Valex Lease, your affordable document management solution. Now, we have very, very little time to go. In 2 minutes, what can you say about this? Is it political vendetta you see, or it's justice that is being sought with the Jakpa petitioning the CID? Godfrey Dami goes there, and we are told that he goes with some 70 lawyers. Whoa. And then there is a counter petition, and now it's being escalated to removal for a judge.
Because of time.
Quickly.
I'm just wondering how someone who tried to use key players in the justice delivery system to get his prosecution terminated unsuccessfully now turns around to use state agencies to hound the person who refused to terminate his prosecution. And we are happy.
That's what Jakpa tried to do.
But what did he try to do with Justice Kolendi and Godfrey Dami? You've seen the record of proceedings in court. Copies of which I have here. And that same person turns around and is now using state institutions to hound the person who refused to terminate his termination.
But we heard we had the telephone conversation between the two of them.
What was it about?
And he says eventually Dami was trying to compromise him to get Ato Forcing into trouble.
At the time that Dami had closed his case, at the time that the defense had been called upon to answer and open his defense, you're a lawyer. But we are happy. Because like they say, Aban Papa, you people, you continue. The power there will change at some point. It will change.
If it changes,
well, what kind of country is this? See, but are you asking me? You're asking me. We were told here by Senior that we know what is happening within the judiciary, right?
Yeah, we do.
So we should continue on that trajectory and destroy our country.
At the time it happened,
it's unbelievable. Look, see, let's call a spade a spade. Godfrey Dami has said publicly that at the time that he engaged this gentleman, he knew that he didn't have a lawyer on record. And he was preparing for some arbitration in the UK. Time constraint, so he called him 2 or 3 days after they had met in Justice Kolendi's house and said to him that, look, can you apply for an injunction, adjournment in this matter on this said date? Only an hour or 2 after that, Mr. Tadiosori calls him to say that he's been engaged as lawyer and had a conversation with him on Jakpa's health and his own requesting for an adjournment at the next agenda. And that becomes an issue of fabrication or manipulation of evidence.
Okay, our time is up. Yes, quickly, Eric.
Samson, you know what? I must say that Ghana nearly lost a very fine finance minister by reason of what Godfrey Dami was planning to do at the time. We nearly lost a very fine finance minister in the person of Ato Forcing. Look, is it you, the two of you to my right,
so
are
what are you
lawyers?
talking about?
Was it right, or is it right for prosecution to clandestinely want to meet an accused? And we listened to the tape, as you said. You cannot treat this with any velvet gloves or massage. You want to call it witch hunting? Trust me, If this government was bent on witch hunting, maybe we would have started to rather.
You said it in your press conference,
That was.
You said it that if Dame is not prosecuted, when you come to power, you prosecute him.
Because we saw the things and we listened to the tape. If the tape was secret,
put out the entire tape.
But you should.
This is a gentleman who has sent 68 WhatsApp messages. The AG responded to only 2. 2 occasions.
I hear you.
Let's not do this.
I hear all of them. Elegant, all of you will hear you. But
that is why
this matter.
That is why I asked if prosecution, if it was right for prosecution to clandestinely seek to meet an accused person. Further, we listened to the tape. We all listened.
How did the prosecution clandestinely seek to meet an accused person?
Was it not secretly seeking to meet him?
How is that even factual?
How is that factual?
Yeah. How is that even factual?
One.
All the meetings
I am happy. All of them. One. I think that
would have been investigating
we should all be happy. All of them are trying to use the processes of the state to achieve their objectives, whatever the motives is. You took Atu to court, you went through the legal process, no problem. He also wants to go through the process. Let's go through it properly.
Perfect.
My big problem in this conversation is that some money has been lost to the state.
2.3 million.
And nobody seems to be talking about it.
Euros.
I don't care whether it is Atu forcing or it is whoever. Where is the money? I was told that at some point Jakpa was offering to get the parts in so that they can complete it. Can we complete those ambulances so that the people of the state can get the benefit of the spend of the state? It is people's money. Nobody is having that conversation. Please, where is our money? Or where is our ambulance?
They've let the ambulance to rot over years.
Please, we want our ambulance. We want our money.
Just like the Onion
whatever it is, where is it? You can change yourselves in the politics. It's your personal problem. But we, the people, we are worried about our money and the benefit of our spend.
Prof, what do you say briefly about this issue?
So my thing is, our public ethics culture, as it relates to our public officials, have to get to a point where they pay more attention to what I call the appearance test versus the legal test. We like to, benchmark things against the legal test. Did I do anything wrong? Versus what tends to get them into trouble is failure to recognize that sometimes it is even the way things appear that gets you into trouble, right? And so I'm just hoping that as we see some of these cases come up, right, we start paying attention to the way things look. Because in my opinion, if the former Attorney General, right, had given, a little more recognition to how does this even look, even if I'm not engaged in any impropriety, the appearance of it can even spark some of these issues. And I think we need to get there.
One last note.
All right, I'm sorry.
Naimos, please. Now that they've raided people, please, where are the kingpins? Where are they
very much?
Where are the kingpins?
My outfit is by Urz Culture. My outfit is by Urz Culture, and you can reach them on 0200 84 1988. 0200 84 1988. Urz Culture, you can find them at Ajiringano opposite Villa David Estate. Also go on social media and look for them. My guests have been Dr. John Osai Kwapong, Professor Kwesienin, Erasos Osaredonko, Andrew Jakpa Mesa, Elikem Kotoko, and Senyor Husi. Thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini.
The Gooba Awards has always been more than a celebration. For years, we have honored excellence across the African diaspora. This year, 2025, we take it further with a chartered flight straight from Accra to Bridgetown from the 9th to the 13th of November for the Gooba Trade and Investment Conference and Awards Night. There will be 9 panel sessions, private roundtables, and investment-ready site visits, all designed to build lasting connections and open new opportunities. Gooba Barbados. This is where Africa and the Caribbean come together to connect, build, and to renew. A true reclaiming of our Atlantic destiny. Join us. Secure your seat at GoobaAwards.com
or call 024-515-6705 or 059-738-5229.
Gooba Awards 2025. Connect, build, renew.
Enjoy Estra's free shopping experience with unforgettable discounts and amazing prizes. This is the EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair, the biggest sales bazaar where buyers and sellers meet. Whether you're a small business owner, a bold startup, or just passionate about the future of businesses in Africa, this is where you need to be. 3 days of exhibition and networking, over 150 SMEs and startups, ranging from food, textiles, fashion, consumer electronics, home decor and appliances, furniture, automobile and technology, and loads more, all under one roof. Don't miss out on the EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair from the 31st of October to November 2nd at the Good Park, Accra Mall, off the Spintex Road. Gate open at 8 a.m. each day. To register as an exhibitor or vendor, call 0500-238-383 or 0244-453-929. The EcoBank Joy Business SME Fair is powered by Joy Prime and sponsored by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and MTN Business. Welcome to a new world of business. Media partners: Joy FM, Hits FM, JoyNews, and myjoyonline.com.
October welcomes you to the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center.